787.
787 departure frequency 15 will be 1257.
257, thanks.
Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome back to the SciFi And Friends podcast. As you can see, we've upgraded a little bit with the video feed, which I'm super excited to announce and finally get to working because these cameras have been sitting in my office since December 28th. So to get them fired up, doing some recording, plus, you know, building the table, which maybe I'll show you later, or if you follow the podcast on Facebook or any other things, you've definitely seen the development of the podcast table. But then also I took over the old office and made it into a podcast studio. So now it is strictly 90% podcast. There is a gigantic metal shelving unit over in the corner that handles a lot of my gardening supplies and just general storage. So, but 90% of it is podcast studio. And Casey called this about we have the camera turned around. I'm just kind of watching myself like, don't do anything stupid. I don't know if these cameras are going to be blessings or curses, you know?
Right.
Like,
well, okay.
Before you could be like, you could just talk crazy stuff and then only people heard your voice. But now,
right,
they're going to see
put
like
a picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, last time we talked about pedophiles for maybe 40 minutes.
A good while.
Yeah.
I need to re-listen to that to be sure.
Yeah.
I didn't dig myself a hole.
You didn't dig yourself a hole as bad as Jay Fry.
No, dude. No.
We love you, Jay Fry. We love you, Jay Fry. Anyway, I haven't done this for a while, so I'm a little rusty, but let's get back to it. I believe I had a few coupon type things. Have no idea. Did not prep that. So
Coupon?
Yeah, like coupon. Like I had like a 23andMe 10% off.
Oh, you were going to give away?
Well, yeah, just like
Until I took it.
Well, no, there's just like a general 10% off coupon that you can just give to friends.
Code word or
like
something?
a referable link.
Oh, from you.
Yeah, like just a general one. You know, like I don't get any royalties, anything off of it, but since I did it and I enjoyed it, then they sent me this thing in an email that said like invite your friends. So I just kind of use it for the podcast.
Well, I got some money off me, I guess.
Just for fodder. Yeah, right. Yeah, I had one for Onnit. I had one for Kuyu.
Do you have the Amazon affiliate link? How does that work?
I know I tried for a while. You just fill out like a business application, and
so is SciFi and Friends a?
No, it's not.
No.
But it needs to be.
How does that happen?
You get that affiliate link, and it's super easy. Like I remember Jesse Fitzpatrick just had one personally. It was just like Amazon.com//Jesse Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he'd just be like,
and he got money back.
Oh, of course, yeah. And he had a bunch of people at the time. He was using it for textbooks. Like people were buying textbooks. They were going to school, and he would like encourage them to use the link to buy these textbooks. Yeah. And so he I don't know how much money he got. He claimed a bunch, but
we got some good feedback here on Facebook Live.
Cool.
Cody Payne, shout out, long time listener, first time live watcher.
Welcome, brother.
Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining.
Hey, man, he needs to come on. You'd be a great guest, brother.
Nicole, thanks for the compliment. I appreciate that. I like that even. Now you know.
Heart it.
Trevor, it only has a thumb thing. Trevor requests Play Hurt by Johnny Cash. It's funny. I almost wore my Johnny Cash shirt.
We're just gonna sing it for him, like like servers at a restaurant that sing "Happy Birthday." I hurt myself.
Oh man,
today
that'd be awesome. It's like Trevor's birthday or something. Like there's a Maracha band that plays "Hurt." I hurt myself today.
A Maracha band Johnny Cash cover. I one time at Red Oak, there was a birthday party in the PDR, the private dining room, and something they were like, oh, you guys should sing for us or something. And so Madison came and got me, Jake, like a bunch of people, and we all decided that we were just going to belt out Happy Birthday. And so we like stood in a line and we're like, oh, well, tonight we have a very special moment for you or whatever. And we start singing Happy Birthday. And I'm just being dumb as shit. So I start going, Happy Birthday to you. And dude, this guy, he was an older gentleman. He like stood up and he was clapping. He was like, that was marvelous. You guys are so talented.
Oh, gee.
Yeah.
And you were just...
I was just being ridiculous. You know, I was just, you know, we were halfway through the night and I just wanted to be funny.
I kind of have a similar, not similar, but I guess, I don't know, kind of similar. I won't mention a name, but I was giving this girl a back rub just, it was in high school.
Yeah,
it was
right,
mutual
right,
friends, like, give me a back rub.
Right, yeah.
And so I was like being stupid and like chopping her at like weird spots, you know, and just like poking her in the back. Like just, I'm not giving you like a, oh God, yeah, you're relaxing my muscles massage. Right. And that's how she treated it. Like, God, it feels so good. I was just like poking her back and just doing like uneven, you know, like, I don't know, when I actually massage, I like to like stay even, maybe like both hands on both sides of the back. No, it's like all uneven.
You diversify, like I'm gonna do some like finger pushing and like
no, it was like just do stupid movements, and she was just, oh, it feels so good. I don't know if maybe like
what would she had said if you would have like actually tried, like actually
probably the same thing. I don't know. You know, it's like
can you just change up a little bit, or
I don't know.
It makes me think of back in 8th, I believe it was 7th grade, actually 6th grade, early middle school.
Real quick.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Peace.
We're gonna head out of here. Tune in. You got a 6-minute preview of the podcast. Tune in if you want to hear more. I guess you can't really tune in, but
next month we're getting fiber optic, and then we should be going live.
Next month
that'll be awesome.
Fiber optic, and we're live. For now, you'll have to wait till this is posted. What do you think? A couple days?
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, it should be a couple days.
All right. Couple
Adobe
days.
Premiere.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Comment on this if you want us to talk about anything. Trevor, we have no Old Riverton store coupons. Sorry. We will, talk about affiliation.
I'll talk to Sarah Davis about that.
Yeah. She'll hook us up.
Yeah.
All right. See you Facebook Live.
All right. Anyway, before we get too off track.
Sorry, I interrupted you. Do you remember what
Oh, yeah, I totally remember.
Okay.
Yep. Oh,
okay.
I did for a second.
Whatever you want.
No, I still remember it. I got to finish the story because it's like,
yeah, go ahead.
It's like whiffing out of my head. So I was going to say, early middle school. It's similar along the lines of me projectile singing retardedness, and then you giving a mediocre back rub, and then it's along those lines. Okay. It was early middle school, and we were in science class, and we had to do like a writing project. I can't remember what it was over. It's just like it was a writing competition for OSU, for Oklahoma State University.
You say in high school?
No, early middle school. So Miss Cox's
middle
class.
School.
Yeah, Miss Cox's class. And I can't remember if we had
prepping the sheep early.
Yeah, I couldn't remember if we were, at least it was science class. I can't remember if it was like what it was over, but I just remember it was Mrs. Cox's class science. And I don't know, I think we might have done an experiment.
Right.
And then we were writing about it, right? I remember just being like, I do not fucking care. I don't care at all. So I'm like, I printed it out and I handed it in. I fucking won. I won this thing. I won a trip to OSU. Like,
my God.
You win. And Miss Cox at the time had got hurt. Like, she hurt her leg or had surgery, so she couldn't go. And then I was like, well, can I just take a friend? And at the time, Wes Heffley and I had just become best friends.
Middle school.
Yeah. So he and Emma came along with me. And so the night before we go to OSU, Bobby planned a lock-in at the church. So we had been up all night just going crazy. Skateboarding days. I'm skateboarding, and Parker's there, and Lucky Kuski and all those. Shout out to all you homies. But yeah, so
kicking it old school.
So anyway, point was I just nanny shenaniganed this paper, and then end up winning, and then go to OSU, and this we show up in like we're sweaty from like we were supposed to dress up
because you'd been up all night.
Yeah, we slept in the car like 2 hours. Wes and I were just like cross-eyed, so we have to end up going to like this formal dinner. And then there was another girl there from another school who had won. And then like our two essays were going against each other. And she ended up winning the whole thing or whatever. I would have shit my pants.
Yeah.
I would have like, I don't remember what I put on that paper.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
Yeah.
But,
can you explain your experiment to us, please?
Kickflip Indy
50.
Yeah. Anyway, it was like just very, and you know, along those same lines, it's kind of weird. It's like if you could capture that sort of performance and then apply it to something that you really cared about, like you could kill, right? Whatever it was, if you had the I don't care mentality.
Oh, I was gonna say the Art of Manliness podcast, or not podcast, the article you sent me on Pocket today.
Yeah, the 20s somethings.
Shoot, where I was going with that, I don't remember.
The article.
Applying yourself, and how like if it's like indirected energy or the subject matter doesn't matter, then it's like you're not gonna get any output compared to if it's something you're having fun with, and it's like, dude, you're gonna like go balls deep into this.
Right. In fact, Kelsey and I watched a YouTube video last night. It's like a knockoff of TED, and it was the 7 habits of highly effective or highly creative people. And one of the steps is like concise learning. So rather than doing a tutorial with a podcast on that, that's actually what his example was, is that he was doing a drawing tutorial on faces, and he had Your Mom's House on, and he showed the before and after, and like while the podcast was on, his drawings suck because he's not really in it. Like he's just kind of like into the conversation. He's drawing, you know. But when he watched a tutorial specifically for the design of a face without any sort of distraction, and then applied that, dude, his drawings were incredible after that. So it was like concise learning instead of just watching endless tutorials on crap and whatever that aren't enhancing you, that actually become a form of procrastination. Like put in minute time into really important things,
right?
Really important subjects.
I don't know. It can be done.
It can be. What do you mean? Listen to a podcast and draw?
I was just gonna say difficult tasks that just take energy and focus, I guess.
Yeah.
Even if it's uninteresting, or if it's interesting, it helps.
Big time.
I mean,
Big
like,
time. I think of AR back in elementary. If you had to power through a book that just was like you wanted to eat
AR makes me really
gun.
sad. Like really, really sad.
Right.
Because I
It's
think
forcing.
and now it's like I look at books and I really like, I have a desire to read them. I like get a hard on for some books, like names, you know, Neil Tyson's astrophysics book. Like, okay, I'm ready for that. You know, pumped up. Sapiens, I see. I guess I don't know.
Homo Deus.
Oh, okay. Well, there's the Sapiens one that is continually recommended and highly reviewed. That's like, oh man, that sounds super interesting.
I have it if you want to borrow it.
Well, it's the problem of I don't like. It's like the muscle memory maybe that I don't have it to go pick up a book and like I'm gonna do this now.
Oh yeah.
Compared to, you know, I guess other ways to spend my time shopping on Craigslist.
Right.
The internet.
Yeah, I have that same problem. And I was actually talking to Kelsey about this the other night, that I broke it down to the sense of I was actually, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And I was looking at my bookshelf and I was like, man, how many of those books have I actually read? And there's this question popped in my head, like, are you going to be the guy that owns a bunch of books, or are you going to be the guy that reads a bunch of books? And so at that time, I kind of felt the momentum shift into like, okay, I'm going
to Jocko said.
Start reading these books.
Told you about what Jocko said. Like, you don't want to be the guy with a ton of books that like, you know, this guy hasn't read all these books, compared to like, I have a few just masterpieces on my shelf that, you know, which I kind of like that mindset of like, maybe like the Tracker. Like, I'm never going to read the Tracker again.
You don't think so?
I don't know.
Probably not.
Probably not. I'd rather like I'm sure, you know, obviously there'd be plenty that I would pull out that I didn't get before.
Right.
But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to read White Fang before I read Tracker. I'm going to read Sapiens before I read Tracker.
Oh,
like there's plenty of
books
other
you
things
haven't read
queued up that I need to get down rather than rereading. So it's like, why wouldn't you pass that on? Or, you know,
like let another person use it?
Yeah. Like here, I'm done with this book. I've read it. I didn't like break it down and study it, but like I read it. I got it. You know, all that I'm willing to put into it, I got out. So if you want to read it and you can get something out of it. So yeah, I like that book exchange. Some libraries and stuff, or they'll have book exchanges to where you can bring in a book and take one of theirs, and it's just
just move on.
Yeah, you give two, you can take two, whatever. If you just want to donate, you can just donate.
Have you seen those little book nooks or whatever? They're just like in parks.
Yeah, I think there's a few in Joplin, isn't there?
Really? Probably so.
I think there's one on like a residential street. Like you wouldn't. It's almost like somebody started it. It was just like, this is here outside my house.
But have you ever? I mean, has anyone ever got a really good book out of there, or is it just like old romance novels?
You know, I bet that's a lot of them. Which, you know, if there was ever, you remember the movie 2012?
Yeah.
No. Day After Tomorrow. Yeah. Day After Tomorrow.
Both just horrible disaster. Not that they were bad movies, but
natural disaster movies. When they're in the library burning books, I would be looking for all the romantic novels to take out.
Like, guys, come on. There's like, we can do this hierarchically. Like, go down to the the fiction section, pick out all the Twilight series first.
Yeah, stay out of the biology, stay out of the psychology, stay out of the...
Who burnt quantum physics?
Yeah, engineering, physics. Yeah.
That's hilarious. I've never thought about that.
Yeah.
That is so good. Of course you'd go for the shit.
Yeah. Now, okay, here, would you go for the law books? So it's like, all right, guys, we have to rewrite.
Like Book of Eli. Like Book of Eli, like the only thing that survived. Spoiler alert. The only thing that survived was like a...
Couldn't have guessed that. It's called the Book of Eli.
Well, the only thing that's kind of survived was this library in San Francisco, and they're like piecing it together.
Right.
And he's the only one that has a copy of the Bible.
Yes.
And just turns out that's in Braille, so it's like, oh shit. But he's been carrying it for so long and reading.
Major spoiler. There you go.
Oh, I told you. I mean, I told you it was coming.
I see. I thought the Book of Eli was a spoiler, but you just gave the spoiler.
If you haven't seen the Book of Eli,
yeah,
don't make it this far.
yeah.
I enjoyed it.
Hopefully they heard the spoiler alert and registered what it was supposed to be, and like mute.
Yeah, or
I don't know.
Surely everyone's seen the Book of Eli. It's been out for quite a while.
It's a good movie.
Kunis is in it.
It'd be a good movie even if you knew.
I liked it.
Kind of what was going on or what happens or whatever.
Right.
Like only he can read it.
It's probably a bullshit movie overall, but like I enjoyed it. So
shit, he memorized it.
Yeah, right. Yeah. What I was gonna say earlier about am I gonna be the guy that reads a bunch of books or just has a bunch of books? As I Googled this thing, I Googled how long will it take me to read this book? And it was Homo Deus, and then there was another one, like kind of the book I have prepped after this. I was like, how long is it going to take me?
Sorry.
And if I could have designed it, no, it's fine. It's glossed, so it can handle liquid. But if I could have designed this app or website, I would have done like a reading test, like
right,
how fast,
for sure.
How fast do you read?
Yeah, for sure.
But it didn't do that, so it's just kind of like average. But it squirted out like I think this one is 9 hours. Like average 9 hour book, right?
That would take me, man, I don't know. Definitely multiple days, but
yeah, well, 9 hours. I mean,
right.
You could literally sit from the morning to the evening.
Did you say you did that with the War of Art?
Yeah,
that's a one day.
That's a one day. I mean, you can make it a one day.
Yeah, 2-3 hours if you're speed reading.
But it just made it more malleable. Like, oh, that's not like a 12-day book.
Right.
That's a 9 hour book. Okay.
Right.
And so it was more of like a movie. Like if I tell you this movie's 2 hours, like you're gonna make it. You're gonna make it through this movie, like no doubt. Like you don't have any doubts unless it's really late.
I don't know. Yeah, I was gonna say I tried to watch Moana the other night, and
Moana.
Holy cow!
Make way.
I watched like a little bit, just kind of like skipped around the next day because as soon as it was over, just shut the laptop straight to bed.
Yeah.
And so I watched a little bit of the next day, and I was just, like, there was parts just I don't remember this
not at all.
Right. I remember the first and a little bit of the last, and not anything in between.
The important.
Yeah, I mean,
she's on the island. She's still on the island.
I remember
credits.
I remember like the happy music playing. She was like meeting her family again. Like, yes, it's almost over. Like, this is the end of it. Not that it was a bad movie. It was just, I'm dying here. Just let me sleep.
If I had to rank the worst feelings in the world, that feeling right there makes top 5. As a terrible feeling.
Especially if you pay for the movie and you're like in the theater or something, and it's just like,
I've only done that a few times. It's usually been on midnight viewings too. Like that Transformers is like midnight viewings. Like, oh my god, I am going to die.
Might as well make matinee and just go cheaper, and you're wide awake.
Yeah, midnight movies are for youngins.
I
don't know. Josh and I used to do. There was a Bella Terra, I believe is what it's called, in Huntington Beach area. Yeah, it's Huntington Beach. They had a Starbucks in their theater. So every time we would go to see a movie, we made it like a ritual to get a
for sure
huge ass coffee. And man, it made the movie so much better.
Yeah,
you're just fired up. Like you just took the right drug to focus and interpret everything you're about to see.
Thing is, you got to like start when the credits start, so you're not peeing the whole movie.
Right. There was definitely an art to it. Like you can't be drinking water and coffee all day and then go in there.
That's what I've been.
That's another feeling I would put on being in a theater where you're like your bladder's about to explode. Rogue One, I thought I was gonna die.
I thought I was gonna go to sleep.
You didn't like it?
I don't know. I wasn't a fan. I'm sure I would enjoy it, like taking it out of Star Wars context.
Oh, right.
As a non-preview, whatever they call that.
Prequel.
The scroll.
Right.
Non-scroll movie.
Yeah, right.
So, and take it as that, but still the political correctness in it and just
it's
the
getting out of control.
PG Disney version.
control.
Like, come on, man.
Right.
Nobody's losing arms. Nobody's getting stabbed or
None
cut
of
in
the good
half.
guys died. Maybe one or two.
Oh, they all die at the end, but
It's true.
they
Spoiler
get their
alert.
mission, John.
Right. Yeah. Ever since Star Wars got sold to Disney, it's just like, well,
Yep. I see Star Wars shirts, and it's not like the cool nostalgia. Dude, Star Wars.
Yeah, right.
It's like the hip thing.
Yeah.
And it's not as cool anymore.
not at all. And it's been totally hijacked by, like you said, political correct, like puppet masters. You know, like I don't even know if I want to go on to this. We need to plug that camera in. Actually, I see the cord.
Oh, well, it's in. Oh, it's not in.
Sorry.
BRB.
What I was gonna say is, it's like all the things that they're adding, and I don't want to exclude anyone, right? That's not the point, but like they're trying to hit every sort of lifestyle. So they're trying to work a gay story in. They're trying to work in, I don't know. They're just diversifying it to diversify, which is not a big deal if it's done right. But it's just like the energy behind it is
They
just
force
like,
it.
Yeah, no pun intended.
Oh, maybe pun intended.
They force it. So it's just like let's add. It just feels like let's add a black guy. Let's add a female lead. Like let's change everything.
And I agree with you. Like it's not the point to pull that. Like to not include everybody.
Yeah,
but it's the point of like we have to do this.
Yes,
it has to be done.
Well, it doesn't make sense. Like, okay, you got a black stormtrooper that suddenly just gets a moral conscience.
Really strange.
What in the hell?
Maybe we've only seen the first one, so maybe there's more behind that.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll hear more. But that was I can't shoot him. I can't shoot him anymore.
Right.
The good force has hit me. And when did they? I thought they were
boy.
okay. Yeah, this is the new Galactic Order stormtroopers compared to the
Juju Binks.
Empire.
Do you remember that video? That guy that does the video essays.
Oh man,
that
was pretty good.
I can't think of his name.
That was pretty good. We need to watch that girl video too.
Oh, that's right. Maybe one day we'll go into why we hate Star Wars. Well, why we? I don't hate Star Wars.
Dude, that might not be a bad
I don't hate Star Wars.
extension to the commercial podcast.
What, just breaking down?
I don't know.
Breaking down movies and stuff? Because I would totally do that.
I guess, but then there's guys like...
I forgot what I was going to look for.
Like the Star Wars guy on here that just... Like, I would never think of half the crap he talks about.
No, but here's what I'll say is Star Wars the new movie anti-white? Is new Star Wars movie anti-white? What in the hell?
17 minutes. That's crazy.
Oh, my God.
Oh, jeez.
The Alex Jones Show. Wait, 2 million subscribers. Jeez.
Man, I don't know.
I typed in Juju Binks, so I don't know. Anyway, there's a video essay.
Classic Jew goal.
DA, motherfucker. Classic Jew goal. That sounds like another human.
Like more than one.
They've multiplied. Classic Jew goal. Is that a move? Is that like the Jew move?
No.
Like behind the leg?
This is like FIFA.
I was going to say, is this a video game?
Probs. I will best to Jugal. Somebody, the over kid was going mental.
Somebody posted this. Word to post it.
That's word for word. Probs the best to Jugal. Somebody, the over kid was going mental. That's the description. All right.
I will say this, man. And I know if you're watching this, you probably are. Danny Hart. Danny Hart's, all his Snapchats are Madden replays. Like all of them. Every single one. And there's like a little bit of commentary from Danny, like, watch this bitch, And like his character does like a spin move or something. Or he does like a 80-year-old
or something.
Or like a defensive player just demolishes someone.
Oh, that's hilarious.
But okay, so earlier before the podcast, well, to wrap up the Star Wars thing, there's a video essay online where a gentleman, I cannot remember.
Is it the one I heard?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, I believe his name is ER. Like that's like his YouTube name, ER. But he does like 30-minute video essays over Star Wars and Mad Max. and I think they're brilliantly done. They're super controversial, some of the stuff that he talks about, but has great points and amazing video essay. Just go check it out. ER, like capital E, capital R, to wrap up that whole thing. But before the podcast, Casey and I were trying not to talk about too much stuff.
My gosh, it's tough.
In fact, I had to start writing it down on my shelter insurance
It's
paper.
tough.
Because some of the stuff was so fascinating. I was like, man, people need to hear about this. Maybe.
Well, just content, really.
Right.
Just
this is good things to fill the podcast with.
And it's like, I don't know if it works like this, but it's kind of like top of the priority, like how our minds work or whatever. Like what issues need to be discussed and regulated or whatever between us.
Hey, real quick, have you ever noticed when you watch the Joe Rogan podcast that he does this?
Yeah.
He doesn't look at his guest. He's like,
for a while.
Yeah, like for like what I'm doing right now. He's like talking like, about the universe or MMA or whatever he's talking about, and then he's like, and then it goes back down like I don't know, like he's almost talking to the listener. Yeah. More than
which he knows most people listen, but I guess at the same time,
I'm always curious about that because I like to look at you and I see like what.
But I think of hours and hours and hours. I mean, he's almost maybe resting because I think his chair. Have you ever Googled like what he sits on?
Yeah, it's like a $1,200 chair,
and it's like so simple. It's like a saddle seat.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So I would think because that's gonna be work in your core, and your sides and stuff, just holding your body upright. He might just be
you think
tired and resting.
Yeah, that's right, because he does put his arm up like this.
Yeah,
that's true.
It was fun. One time, Tom Segura was on, and they were watching a video, and it was kind of Rogan poking into like Your Mom's House podcast, and
does Your Mom's House do video?
Yeah, they do video because a lot of their content is they'll go through like 4 or 5 YouTube videos. Oh, right. They have some listeners that like do their videos and stuff. And that they'll play them.
Like
so you
make
can
fun of them?
No, remember I was telling you they'd go through like the drive-through and like, hey, mommy, how you doing? And, all right, thanks, Hitler. Just real quick, but not quick enough to where the recipient of it won't catch it.
Unless you know the reference.
Unless you know the reference, which has never happened yet.
Except for that waiter, server.
But that wasn't like a video. They were just going out to eat.
Oh, right.
And then they had their whole meal, whatever. They're ready to leave. Yeah. And then, thanks, mommy. Yeah. He walks away. And just like, no way. But, shoot. Oh, they were watching a video on JRE. And it was like, because a lot of their jokes, I don't even get because I have not been a long time listener. So the mommy thing, I have no idea. I don't know where it came from. So Rogan was kind of poking around at that. Like, what does that mean? Everything. And he was showing him the Glassin video. Have you seen the Just Glassin? The dad Just Glassin? It might be worth looking up. It's pretty good.
No, but
because they do a thing called like dad boners to where dads freak out. Like it's like a total dad. Oh my God. Like fascinating.
Dude, that's exactly what you're talking about right
Yeah,
there.
It probably is. Archery moose. Go to that one.
This one?
Yeah.
4 minutes?
You can zoom, or not zoom, but you can skip around. Yeah, skip.
To like
just kind of skip through.
Is it Steven Renoa?
No, it's this guy.
Oh my God,
it's this guy. Now, do you have audio? Like, will audio be playing with this?
I mean, the mic
coming through this.
The mics will pick it up.
It'll pick it up all right. But.
Well, actually, the QuickTime is actually recording the screen, so I'm not sure if it picks up audio as well.
Right. So it's after he shoots this moose.
Wow, that's a nice bow. It's a Hoyt,
and really it's all about his reaction. And the dad boner is like just a corny. I think this is like from the time they've seen like, oh shoot, there's a moose.
How long it takes to how long
it's going down. Okay,
right. So it took 20 seconds for him.
What? Yes! Have you ever seen a moose go down that quick now? Holy cow! Holy cow, I was right. That is awesome. We got out here early morning. Look at the meadow.
I think that's my bow. I think it's an element.
We came up here.
Why does he have pink arrows?
Slipping along this big, huge meadow. Big, long, tall meadow. We're slipping along here. Just glassing. Just glassing.
Just glassing.
I didn't even put my head net on. I'm like, we're just glassing. Just keep going. Let's glass. And I'm like, holy smokes, I got a moose. And I'm like, oh man, it's a bull. And I'm like, no, it's a cow. We got a cow.
What in the heck?
That was unbelievable.
It's just like his,
There's no way.
his like right after he shoots it.
Like, what's he doing right now?
Just watching that thing.
He just doesn't even know what to do.
Have you ever seen it?
He's
Anyway.
like jumping around.
So the point of that was they're watching it on Rogan's screens.
Yeah.
And this was a podcast where Rogan preluded it with, I am so tired. I can't do yoga and then go straight to a podcast.
I remember that
I was so
podcast,
tired.
yeah.
So he's watching this and he's like, you know, like kind of laughing at it. And you can see Tom. And as far as dominance goes, you know, just Rogan's just alpha in the room, you know.
Right.
And you can see Tom's like eyes kind of scooch over, like check Rogan's reaction. Like, are you thinking it's funny? Because it's all an inside joke. So if you were to listen to the podcast, you're gonna be dying laughing because it's Tom and Christina, and you know they're making you laugh. But him like showing it out of context, like it's funny, but it's not as funny as you'd be laughing with them making fun of it because they're pointing out all this stuff.
How in the hell did they find this?
Well, so now they have a shirt that says just glassing, and so like that's another, like, if you saw this shirt,
This guy's got almost 5,000 followers, 5,000 subscribers.
Disconnected.
Oh yeah, the batteries are low.
Oh,
Just hit this there.
oh, yeah. Anyway,
Boner. Like, what's gonna come up with that?
see, what was that?
368. That's awesome.
Boner Dad. Do not watch the Boner Dad. I don't know what that is. Oh jeez.
Oh,
went
you
back.
you magic.
Anyway, so yeah, going way back, before this podcast,
Yeah.
I was telling Colton, I'm sure a lot of you have seen the little girl that mistakes the water heater for a robot. Water heater robot.
These cameras, I don't know if I'm not used to them yet.
Here it is. You ready?
Yeah.
Man, look at all these. USA Today.
Oh wow, this little Asian girl.
I don't think so. So it's just getting shared a lot.
Is she holding the tennis racket?
None of them. No, it's like a sewer drain or whatever. None of them has a ton of views, but it's just getting passed around.
All right. This is the new going viral. Everybody shares. Well, look, these are all. That's like all news now.
Kind of looks like a robot, you know.
It's got eyes.
Yeah.
Oh. Oh. Okay. Okay, so then she goes plays with the sewer. All right, so this makes me wonder. You know, there's like, obviously you listen to a lot of podcasts, and a lot of the content around that is like, what we're going to do when AI takes over or whatever, or it gets so vastly smart and everything. Okay, let's pretend that thing is super intelligent.
One of the comments I read was, "This is how you survive the robot uprising." I love you, robot.
Yeah, no shit.
I love you, robot.
Please don't kill me. I'll be your pet. You know, that little girl's probably gonna have a relationship with an autonomous robot. You know,
she's that's a broad,
not a
bold
sexual,
statement.
not a sexual relationship. Just like
It could be sexual.
it could be. Yeah, that's not what I was going with. Like you. Okay, so for example, you have a relationship with your blender, right? You've spent time with it.
Suppose
You're intimate with it.
no,
No,
I'm not intimate with my blender.
in the sense of you know how it works. Like,
But it doesn't know how I work.
no.
It knows what I prefer, maybe.
If it was
Green smoothies. That's the setting I go to.
if it was
Blend me my green
some sort of
smoothies.
autonomous, you know, some sort of intelligence, then it would. Yeah, it would definitely know a lot about you. And that's one of my thoughts as I drive to school every day is this right here is the most incredible therapist of all time. It knows everything about you, even the lies that you tell yourself.
Did you ever see that Joaquin Phoenix movie? Girl or
Her. No, but it's definitely on my queue.
Now that would be something I would think that would relate to that concept. 'Cause I think that's what happens. Like
He falls in love with like a Siri, is what I understood.
Yeah, that's what I understood. I haven't seen it.
Falls in love. Yeah, but what you're saying is that your blender doesn't have a relationship with you, and that's probably what that movie is saying, is that the human falls in love or whatever, has a chemical attachment to this machine, entity that's not even real,
So,
but not the other way around.
Ex Machina just took it to another level.
Yeah, right.
With a humanoid.
Right. That personified it physically
compared
right.
to a box that has information in it.
Yeah, but what's interesting is that he still fell in love with it, you know.
Is it interesting? I fell in love with. Oh, they're talking about Ex Machina. Like I fell in love with.
Well,
it, man.
that's like a full-on human. You know, your brain can't tell the difference between that. Besides the gigantic floating universe, you know, the blue cranium.
So
you know?
good,
Yeah,
man.
it's good.
But when she puts on like the wig and the dress, like
You know, you can't tell then.
whoa,
Yeah, right.
perfect girl for it. I think you know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah. Girl, your dreams. You know,
Pretty much.
Absolutely.
That innocent face, you know, like whoa, what's going on here?
Right. And then her persona, like
Yes.
her personality was innocent as well, because she is like this little
Man.
robot that doesn't know how the world works.
Maybe
you
spoiler alert on Ex Machina because that is a fantastic show,
know? I mean, if you haven't seen it, you definitely should go look it up.
dude. It's almost I don't even want to say too much, but
Yeah, well, just
Like-
spoiler alert so we can talk about it.
yeah, it's like fucking heartbreaking.
Mm.
Oh man,
Mm.
a little disturbing.
Mm-hmm.
Just that end scene where she's walking out and
Stabs him in the back.
well,
Locks
that-
him in there.
Yeah, but the kid
Yeah.
just
Well-
don't give a fuck.
No, there's no sort of emotional attachment. Well,
Yeah.
there is no emotion, right?
That's the point, right?
There's
Is that
nothing.
It's a robot.
It's just intelligence.
cannot feel.
Yeah, it's just
It can
intelligence.
be told to feel, right?
Well, it acted like it felt. It pretended.
Yeah.
It pretended to feel.
Right.
Because it lassoed in our boy.
So it most likely passed the Turing test.
I would imagine so.
Because that thing.
What about the scene when they're dancing? Did you remember that scene?
Oh.
It was so bizarre.
Yeah, wasn't the girl have her shirt off or something?
Yeah, it's the Asian chick. Like it's like
The Asian robot.
Yeah, the Asian,
Yeah.
the personal robot. To.
Oh,
I
jeez.
mean, if I was that guy, I'd do exactly what he did.
Yeah,
Just
I can't
build a bunch of
imagine
fuck bots.
anything different. I don't know about
A closet of fuck bots.
He gets drunk a lot. I don't know if I do that, but
Well, yeah. One, he was like some crazy genius, so he's probably toiling with questions in his head that really grind him down.
Mhm.
And two, he solved this, or he solved like one question of intelligence, but then like brought up another question of meaning. So like, okay, intelligence is malleable and it's creatable, but like, so now he almost like took away meaning from humans by giving super intelligence to these machines.
because they can
'Cause-
best us.
One, they can best us, and two, now we're not the only thing in the known universe that has
Intelligence.
self-consciousness and intelligence.
Well, does she have self-consciousness? I guess she does.
Well,
if she has a
as
goal
far
to
as-
get out of the facility.
As far as we know, and then you bring up another good question that scientists in real life, in base reality, are toiling with. Toiling with.
Oh.
I think it's toying with. You know, today, like what is consciousness? Like no one can answer that. You know.
Right. Is it beamed? Is it from within?
Mm-hmm.
I like the television set analogy.
That you're
where-
picking up a signal.
Right. And it's
Explain
like-
that. Can you explain that?
As far as I understand it, I mean, that's how you'd picture an old TV set and you turn it on, it's just static, but then consciousness is kind of beamed into it from an antenna from, quote,
source.
space,
Oh.
you know, or, yeah, a source maybe is a better name for it. And that's where self-awareness and consciousness comes from. But
So-
then, oh, go ahead.
What's the source?
Oh, I mean, come on. You know, if I knew, I'd write a book or something.
That's what you do.
I don't know.
That's why I hated that fucking movie Limitless.
Yeah.
He took the smartest.
Yeah.
I become the smartest human
Yeah.
alive. I'm gonna play the stock market, and I'm gonna go be badass at cocktail parties.
I bought that movie because I was like, this has to be the greatest movie. I cannot wait to see what they do with this.
Oh my god!
And yeah, he takes it, he plays the stock market and like becomes socially accepted or something. Like,
Who wrote this?
oh
Who
man.
wrote this shit? Did you ever see Lucy? No, Lucy was.
Yeah.
What'd you think of that? Based on the same criteria, right? That dumb, stupid myth of you only use 10% of your brain.
And she got to unlock all
I
of
admit
it.
it. I used to think that too.
She unlocks all of it or something.
Yeah, 100% potential. And then
I don't know. I wasn't
basically
a fan
she
of it.
just becomes a killer, right? She just starts killing everybody.
The first time I ever watched that was the first time I ever smoked dabs.
What a great choice.
The movie was like 10 minutes long. Like, I remember starting it and just like, it's already over. It's been like 15 minutes maybe.
Okay, dude. So that brings up a great like idea that I've been thinking about, and I actually talked about it in my LSD presentation in senior seminar. Dr. Harry's asked a question afterwards, like, what do you think we should study next? You know, they've done the take the acid, what's happening in this guy's brain, whatever. We got that part, right? He's like, what should we study next? And I said, like, we should break down time manipulation, because to you and me, like, I'm pretty sure a second and a minute and an hour is basically the same to you and me right now.
Yep.
We're both sober or whatever.
No, I'm not sober.
But you fall into the relative like genre of soberness. Like you're on that timeline. Yeah, you might be.
You know how
you
you wiggled your hands there? That's about where I'm at.
Exactly, right?
So
but it
I
doesn't
guess,
change too much, right? Time is decently the stable.
Right.
But like you just said, you took a chemical, a drug,
Yeah.
and it manipulated your observance of time to such a great degree that a 2-hour movie was 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So my question is, and this is the purpose behind that would be for like learning, like speed learning. So for instance, this takes 9 hours. What if you could manipulate your mind to crunch 9 hours into 1 minute, where it thinks it did 9 hours, but it's only 1 minute? How do you do that? It's like breaking the laws of the universe.
My first thought goes to the dream state. Problem is they've done dream state analysis.
Good example.
To where like they'll play something when a person sleeps and there's no recollection. I couldn't tell you what the hell played. I don't remember any of the audiobook, whatever. But Inception wise, getting inside, you have all the time in the world, you know, to do this. That would be something. Jocko talks about a concept of sleeping faster to get less sleep, so you're awake more to do more. And he just pretty much says he's good at it, but it's a strange concept, sleeping faster. So it's like you don't sleep as long, but you get the benefits of a long sleep.
How?
I'm not really sure.
Okay.
I don't really know.
Right.
I think he's just a freak and maybe can do it.
He's also trained too. Like you would train yourself.
Yeah.
He just didn't start fast sleeping yesterday.
Right.
You know, he's probably been doing it for a while.
Right.
But think of bud training. You don't get any sort of buds. I mean, you don't get any sleep during that hell week. It's like 48 hours of no sleep.
Yeah, but he talks about that like that was nothing. That was fun.
What in the hell?
That was fun.
He said that?
Yeah.
All right. You are exactly where you're supposed to be, you know? Like,
You know. He signed up when he was 18, worked his way up the ranks, and became like his task unit bruiser, most awarded, like the most decorated unit in the Ramadi War, you know?
Yeah.
Or the Battle of Ramadi or whatever.
That's insane. Did you ever listen to that Damn Few, the book Damn Few with Sergeant Rourke Denver or something like that?
One of the podcasts? I'm not sure.
No, it's a audiobook.
Oh, no,
it's on my Audible.
No.
It's pretty similar. The guy's pretty similar to Jocko in the sense of like he talks real low like this or whatever. And then he was obviously in a different war, different unit and everything, but very
older guy?
Yeah, a little older guy.
Iraq war?
I don't think so. Jungles. Like I think he was stationed in Africa, if I want to say, if I am correct.
Interesting.
But anyway, he talks about, where was I going with that? He talks about, what were we talking about? Sleep.
Jocko, sleep, Ramadi, decorated war unit.
I don't.
Task unit bruiser.
I totally forgot. Anyway, he talks, this other Marine, it just reminded me of Jocko very similarly. And, that's what I was going to say is how I said that Jocko is meant to be where he is. Like, dude, that is like what you were born to do.
Oh, yeah.
This guy's pretty similar. One of the stories that he tells in the book is when he got into boot camp or whatever, the sergeants or captains or whoever, I don't know what I'm so terrible at the hierarchy of military, but
me too.
the people that are above them were like, clean your room as best you can, detail it. You know, they were just like, there's dust on the window sill. So anyway, over the weekend, he and his roommates went to Home Depot and bought like a ton of cleaning stuff, toothbrushes and sponges, and they spent the whole weekend cleaning everything, like just total obsession of cleaning. And the sergeants or whatever came in, they're like, pretty good, you know. So like he was on the right path as well. He was meant to be there. He's like, okay, you're gonna make me clean. I'm gonna clean 2,000%. I'm gonna give up my weekend. Everyone else is gonna go chase pussy and drink whiskey, and I'm gonna clean this a million. And he ended up becoming a great leader.
Dude, that's exactly Jocko's mindset. They did a it was a type of, I can't remember what it was. It was like an indoor training type deal, and I think it was maybe like an intelligence training. But here they were like bunked and stationed here, and one of the things was they have to yell everywhere they go. Like everything they talk about, they have to yell. So if they're talking to their buddy, like, I don't know, you're the mess hall. I'll see you at the mess hall.
Even just like random, like just like
every conversation, every word out of your mouth.
Yeah.
And so it got to the point where some of the leaders, were like tired because Jocko would take it like 110% to where like you might be like getting food in the mess hall or something, and thanks, nobody cares. And Jocko would yell, like, more potatoes, please. And they just got so tired of it. He's like, he yelled something like, sorry, sir, if I had instructions to vocalize every word or whatever.
Right.
And, like, he had the right of way, basically. Like, you can do this. And they eat without looking at their food to increase their spatial awareness. So they're like digging around on their plate and they have to eat. And like, if you get caught looking down, and not airline pilots, but like fighter pilots, they do that because they're looking ahead at what's in front of them, and they have a whole plethora of buttons and switches and gauges and shit all around them. So it's like required that they don't look at their food while they eat, so they can train that peripheral vision and the muscle memory and movement.
I'm definitely adding that to my breakfast.
Really strange. Yeah. I mean, he said, you're like poking around on your plate trying to pick stuff up. And
gigantic, muscular Jocko, just like, not to laugh at him or anything.
Right. No,
it's
for
like
sure.
a comical thing to see, like, the hell's down there?
No, on that same,
my chicken?
On that same, talk of discipline.
Yeah.
There's one, I want to say it's a Japanese army from back in the day.
Of course, like the most disciplined people of all time.
Well,
maybe.
Something along the lines of, they were good, and then basically there was a mutiny to where they shot the commander in the back. Jeez. And like, he went down in war. It was like a revolt.
Wow.
And one of the accountings of it, like one of the survivors was like, it all started when they started growing their beards out. When they stopped shaving. What? And then that led to starting to wear extra jewelry, or not jewelry, but like a lot of it was during like the 70s and like the peace. So like guys were smoking weed and stuff.
Oh, right.
And it was like, it all started when they just started growing out their, stopped shaving their facial stubble. Wow. That's where it started, and it went into a full-blown mutiny revolt of the whole division.
I mean, that totally makes sense, but I don't know if I could agree with it. But
I think it's a warfare thing. I think it's like the most real of the real.
Right.
It's as real as it gets. Like, we're trying to kill those guys, and they're trying to kill us. And that's one of the things that kind of turned me on to Jocko, was just like,
interesting.
This dude is a straight up killer. Yeah. Like, he is a killer. He kills people.
Right.
He gets paid to kill people.
Right.
And he knows how to kill people. He knows like the anatomy of where to tear out, how, where to shoot, where to bite,
Has he talked about this?
Not much, but I know, like he'll downplay it, of course, and that's like part of the SEAL's way is don't brag, definitely don't brag about what you do. And he talks about that with the book and how he had to kind of struggle with, do I want to do this? Because we don't talk about what we do, we just do it, and there's no need to brag. You get up and you do it. And so, but I think he has enough followers and listeners now, especially with the podcast. And a lot of them are soldiers.
Ex-military or military.
Yeah, like current military or ex-military. Yeah. And every single podcast, he does the Q&A. So, questions answered.
Right. That's probably one of the best parts of his podcast.
I don't know, man. Some of those books, and I was telling even Dylan today about like the emotional impact some of those book breakdowns have. Dude, number 60. He prefaces it very well, like, I didn't even think I was going to do this book because it is so bad and so hard to deal with.
That's the one where they're doing landmines?
The raping of Nantucket.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I remember you telling me about that.
Oh, my God. Dude, it's brutal. Like, I told Dylan, because he's kind of getting into it. He still needs to listen to Tim and Joe and all that.
Right. He's got to take the right path.
Sure. But I said, whenever you get to the actual podcast, save 60. Like, at least get a few in before you hit 60. Maybe don't even listen to 60.
Oh, wow.
It's bad, dude. It's really bad.
You need to listen to Wooden Leg, the story of Wooden Leg.
Dude.
The American Lakota.
Oh, I just put the rest on my listen later, and now that I'm connected to your Wi-Fi,
Get off my Wi-Fi.
download that.
Yeah, he's really good. I like his podcast. You should check it out.
Jocko podcast.
Jocko's good. What was I going to say else?
92 podcasts queued up.
You'll go through them in a week.
Man, no kidding.
One thing I was going to talk about is that 23andMe.
Yeah.
You had that 23andMe coming in.
Yeah. Can we put a T out on this so I can change laundry and empty my bladder?
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, go ahead.
Are you good? And we can
start
ahead.
up
23andMe or whatever. Okay.
Yeah, that's
I'll
fine.
be quick and be right back.
Yeah, it's
I'm
fine.
going to grab that other whiskey too.
I'm going to check these cameras out. I think it's cool. I forget about the 2-shot a lot.
Yeah,
It's just kind of over there. But if I could change, what do you guys think? I wish it was live. It soon will be. Don't worry. Optic Communications is coming in next month. Actually, they start burying the cable Monday, and Optic should offer gigabit, which is hopefully a gig a second internet, and then with that sort of speed and bandwidth, I should be able to do live recordings to where you could watch it live on YouTube or wherever else. And I won't turn the comment section off so we can read unless it gets crazy. Who knows? But so far so good. Looks good. I like the cameras a lot, man. Cameras are good. It's kind of like a test run. This is just a little test run. This is actually the very first podcast with the cameras, obviously, and with the whole new setup of the studio. And let's see, what can you see? I got foam padding up here. I got a little refrigerator down here, the table here, the whole setup. So, Casey and I took probably 30 minutes to get set up and mess with the cameras and get the lighting right. We actually had 4 100-watt LEDs up here, and there's just two way too bright. So now there's one left. They're like $20 bulbs. I spent $80 on them, and now I'm using one. So, as far as everything seems so far so good. It'll be interesting to get into the editing booth and edit the video and the audio and everything else, and see how it shapes up. But one thing that I'm really excited about with the video feed is the ability to cut little pieces, little montages or monologues out of the podcast. So for instance, like Casey's whole thing about the revolt with the Japanese warriors growing their beards out, like I think that's perfect for a little 5-minute clip of Casye Seifert on Jocko podcast or something like that. And just something that's like almost like little bite size of a 52-minute podcast so far. And as many of you might know, I base this off of Joe Rogan's podcast because I like Joe Rogan. I want to be Joe Rogan. No, I mean, kind of, sort of, but he's so cool. He's my hero in a lot of ways, one of my heroes. But I base the formatting. I use the same microphones, the mic stands, all of it. So part of it is just kind of, there's an old thing where writers used to write word for word books that they loved, and in that way they could feel the flow and the way that the author that they looked up to, how they thought and how they wrote, and that would influence them in their own writing. In a lot of ways, there's a word for it, there's a terminology for it, I can't think of it right now, but in a lot of ways that's just what I'm doing with the podcast. I really like the format and the feel and listening to Joe Rogan's podcast. Well, I'm just going to do exactly that. And then along the way, I'll find out who I am as a podcast host and what SciFi and Friends is all going to be about. Is it just going to be about, Colton talking to his local buddies here in Kansas, or, with gigabit internet, am I going to be able to Skype with artists and authors and musicians all over the world? Do interviews like that, or am I going to be able to bring cool guests on? I mean, who knows? It's just taking it episode by episode. Buffalo Trace is in the house. But, I've had people ask me, sorry, I just burped in the mic. I've had people ask me, like, how are you going to monetize your podcast? How are you going to make money off of it? And while that is a concern, like, obviously if I could do this as a living, I would love to quit Red Oak and love to, just do
Really?
this.
I thought you loved Red Oak.
I mean, I actually do. All honesty, I enjoy Red Oak for a lot of reasons, but obviously I'd much rather do something else. But I think I was talking to my mom about this, or our mom. Like I just do it because I love it. It's just fun. It's so much fun to have you on
podcast.
Yeah, or Randy, or
I was gonna say I like the diversification that you've added to it.
Oh, and more should come too.
Sure.
Yeah. A lot of the things like I'm thinking of Joe Mack. He didn't not come on for any reason. He just said he was busy. But now that I can show him that I have like a studio and there's like he'll be able to watch the video and like, dude, this is kind of how it goes, Right. I think that sort of caliber of guest will be much more apt to come on. Sure. I have a list of pit professors where I'm like, I'm nervous as hell to have them on because they're high caliber, but that's what's going to make the show better and the host better as well.
But I mean, like you said, as they see this, as they see the room, as they see maybe the evolving structure,
right?
And now you can really have structure because you have video. You can go live. You can and like I did a quick Facebook Live thing for a couple minutes. We were up to like 7. And that's not bad. Like, so I don't know if we did it like actually, like we're going live, YouTube.
I think it's incredible, and I know we've talked about this before off podcast, but incredible how many people actually listen to the podcast.
Yeah, me too.
Just like random people, where I think you were talking. Yeah, I think you were at a bar maybe, and someone came up and said, I've listened to you and on the podcast a few times. Like, what podcast? SciFi And Friends. Like people that you would never expect to be listening to a podcast.
Some people that I hadn't seen for a while.
Yeah,
like, I heard you on the podcast.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
You
listen to the podcast? I was thinking of Holly Harper. Shout out Holly Harper. She's like, I've listened to every single one. Yeah. And I mean, that kind of made me tear up a little bit. Like, oh my God.
Caleb, I couldn't believe it. Yeah. It's like, cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I don't know. It just,
she was
at least
so sweet
somebody
about it, She was just like,
course, she's a sweetheart.
Yeah. She was just like, oh, glad you're both doing so good. Oh geez, she's nice.
Yeah, it's always good to see her. It's just cool that people out there are enjoying something that you're making and putting out.
Yeah, it does feel good,
right?
Yeah, it's unique enough. It's still kind of on the up and coming. Yeah, radio's not totally dead yet, unfortunately.
How in the hell is it not? Every time I turn the Bluetooth is messing up in my car and I have to like endure 10 minutes of Kicks 102.5. It's like, how is this still going?
Yeah.
There's 2, and now this pops in my head. How fucking cool would it be to have some like radio host on from Joplin on the podcast? That'd be kind of cool.
Why is that?
I don't know. Just like they seem like cool people to talk to.
It's Weenie and the Butt. What's that off of? Family Guy or something?
Butt. No. Like I'm thinking
Dingo and the Baby.
I'm thinking of the Kicks 102.5 people. They always do a thing, and this is probably pretty normal for radio. They always have like a morning question. Like, tomorrow we'll be talking about what is so hard about adulting. What do you not know how to adult? Call in tomorrow and let's talk about it. So then like,
I see.
So in the morning show when everyone's
gives them a chance really to kind of talk and respond.
Well, I mean, I think I've just dropped his name. There's a Kevin and Bean. Do you ever listen to Kevin and Bean?
No, I've heard of them.
They're a LA talk show.
Kevin Smith?
No, Kevin Smith's the filmmaker.
Oh.
Kevin and Bean are like duo radio guys, and they're huge in LA. And all it is just a morning talk show that they have like skits and stuff. Like it's funny. Like I don't know if it's gonna last.
Like Key and Peele skits?
Kind of, but it's all radio stuff. So like for instance, like if you and I were Key and Peele, we'd be like, tonight we have a very special guest. Leonardo DiCaprio is calling in, and then Trevor would be Leonardo DiCaprio. And he would kind of sound like him.
Matthew McConaughey.
Exactly.
Matthew McConaughey.
So the listener knows it's not really. It's almost like, you know what it reminds me of? It almost reminds me of a GTA radio show.
Oh man, like, so good, so good.
Imagine recording that is a fascinating thought. Someone had to record that, and just hours. Yeah. You had to record, 20 hours?
How many players, gets the full... Because it's like a radio. It plays and plays and plays. You might get a few of the same songs, but a lot of the dialogue is like...
Oh, and I remember some of the dialogue forever. Like, there was a chick, and I feel like they were making fun of, like, a conservative radio, and this girl was, like, a conservative chick.
Oh, my God.
And she was bashing... At the time, it was GTA Vice City. So at the time...
One of the greatest.
It's like 2002... early 2000s. Anyway, there's like a lot of talk and energy around a woman president. Like maybe a fucking woman could do it, you know. And so I think GTA was making fun of like conservative talk, and it was like, if we elect a woman president, she will nuke a country every 28 days, you know. And I'll never forget that as a boy, like driving around, like, what does that mean? Just like, I just never forgot that. But you know,
yeah, some of them were just so. I guess that's the beauty of it, and that's what Seth MacFarlane with Family Guy has talked about. Is you take like the I don't know, comedians too. You take the normal everyday, and you kind of break it down,
right?
And then it's like it's weird to look at.
Yeah,
like, that's true.
Right,
that's true. That's why it's funny.
Well, that's why it's funny, and that's very similar to what psychedelics do to you. They break down normal things. Like
Chris Ryan put it great. He might be quoting somebody, but I heard it from him. It breaks the assumptive reality. So what you assume to be real, and this is it. This is my reality. Blah blah blah. It breaks that and puts you in. I don't even want to say what it puts you in, but I love
a higher state, right? I mean,
I don't know.
When you say you get high, I always like the metaphor of you go to like a vantage point over your situation or over your thoughts, where you kind of like. You're looking down and like, oh, I never thought about it like this. This is crazy.
Does LSD make you high?
Oh, I just did a presentation on LSD, and
but does it make you high?
Does it make you what? Okay, so what's the definition of high? Right. Is that what we're getting at?
Maybe, I suppose.
It definitely makes you not sober.
Alters.
It definitely alters your perception of reality, big time. Yes. But what were we talking about? Perception of assumptions of reality,
breaking the assumption of reality.
You know, that's Terrence McKenna would also talk about that it's psychedelics are I can't remember his exact words, but they're like they dissolve barriers, they dissolve walls. So for instance, if you have problems empathizing with someone, you know, MDMA will solve that problem real quick.
Same with addiction.
Or addiction.
MDMA?
Right. We're finding out a lot about MDMA. There's actually a great podcast I just listened to the other day. Well, I listen to this podcast quite often, The Psychedelic Salon. Do you listen to The Psychedelic Salon?
I don't, but it sounds...
It's cool.
Right up my alley.
Lorenzo is the host. And mostly what he does is he plays old lectures, mostly McKenna lectures, but he chops it down so it's not like a 4-hour lecture. It's like McKenna on reality. Really cool stuff. But what he's been doing the last few years is he's recording lectures and things that happen at Burning Man, at MAPS conferences, and then he puts those into podcast form. And then just recently they've updated to Psychedelic Salon 2.0, where he partnered. He's getting a little old and it's just tough to keep up and whatnot. But he's partnered with some younger kids that are interested in psychedelics. And they did a phone interview with an author who wrote, she's talking about microdosing, and she was talking about MDMA and how she and her husband used it for couples therapy or marriage therapy. And dude, her quote was, the person that you do MDMA with first is more important than the person that you have sex with first.
I agree with that.
I mean, I've never done MDMA, but
I would agree with a lot of people are more important than the first person I've had sex with.
Well,
sorry to you. You know who you are.
No, not that I meant that person isn't important. Like that person, he is super important to you, right? No, I mean like
holds a significance.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So the person that you do MDMA
it's not
with
a him
is just make that clear.
Just clear something up real quick.
Oh man, I was thinking about what's funny. Like if you could break down what is funny. And for sure, two things that I just know almost always kill. And that is swapping genders. It's super easy. Just swap, like I just did, swap genders.
Right.
Funny.
Right.
It's unexpected. I forgot what the other one was.
Funny things.
I don't remember. But swapping genders is hilarious.
The unexpected.
Yeah. So you could chalk that up as unexpected, because there's tons of times where I'll just swap the gender of like, we'll be talking about someone, but like, she's a wonderful lady, you know? Yeah. It's like, that dishwasher's a dude, you know? People just laugh.
Yeah.
Anyway. So yeah. So not that the person that you had sex with at first, like that person obviously is entrenched. You may have sex with, you probably had sex with like 500 people.
Probably.
So far.
Yeah. 500 to 600 people.
Put those two numbers together for me, baby.
And there's so many genders out there. It could have been 12 to 20 genders at this point.
You have them all like decisive, like male, female.
Yeah.
they don't know. Boxkin.
Yeah. Sometimes I just don't ask,
Yeah.
and we just kind of make it work.
Right.
But it's probably closer to 600 than 500.
Sheesh.
So.
At a time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can you imagine 600 people having sex?
One time counts as about probably 80 people is the thing. So
you have to like get a megaphone. Is everybody ready? We were. Anyway, the podcast, Psychedelic Salon, is kind of cool. And basically that interview was really cool. She was very interesting. She wrote a book. I forget what it was called, but it was about microdosing. She microdosed on acid for 30 days and changed her life. It was really cool.
Was she doing like tablets or like drops?
I think she did drops. I'm not quite sure. She talks about it more.
I was gonna say I would think that would be the way to measure it a little better.
Yeah.
Just because you know your potency. If you made it, I guess.
And then she talks about that too.
Yeah.
Since it's illegal, you have no freaking clue what you're doing.
Right.
There's another podcast with Duncan Trussell, the Duncan Trussell Family Hour. He interviews Hamilton Morris. Are you familiar with Hamilton Morris?
No.
Oh, Hamilton Morris is a really strange character, but super smart in organic chemistry. And he hosts a show on Viceland called Hamilton. I just forgot what it's called. Something Hamilton Morris, psychedelic drugs. But he just goes around the world and interviews people about psychedelic drugs. And like he goes to a South African Quaalude plant.
Oh, geez.
That's shut down, but people still make Quaaludes and stuff. And magic mushrooms in Mexico and all. But he breaks it down chemically, and then he ends up doing it usually. Anyway, he's on the Duncan Trussell podcast, and he talks about microdosing. Hamilton Morris. He talks about microdosing, and he's like, I never knew that the way to get everyone into psychedelics is to not make them psychedelic.
So what?
Microdosing.
Oh.
Like, it's not psychedelic. Like, if you do it correctly.
Yeah, but who's going to take, like the nibble of mushroom or something? Why?
Because it's awesome. It's a different effect.
It's awesome, but I guess I have the mindset of like Cannonball, like go in and see what it's like.
There's just pros and cons to each. You Cannonball, you're not doing certain things. Yeah. You are on. They strap you into the roller coaster, and you're like, oh god.
That's the experience.
You take one mushroom stem and put it in your smoothie.
Right.
You're gonna feel like a buzz, like almost like a lift. That's
not
a great
high,
way to,
but a lift.
You're definitely like more alert.
Right.
And in that way, you're mostly in control of what you're doing, and then you can direct that sort of energy to whatever you want to do. So if you're a creative, if you're like a writer, like I am, when I allegedly did that once, I focused that energy on my writing. I was like, how creative, is this helping me? Is this hindering me? And it was an interesting outcome. But a lot of it is a pick me up. If you're doing like a micro hit of acid or whatever, that's a pick me up. And a lot of people, Silicon Valley people particularly, are taking micro doses to like creatively think on how to develop new machines or software.
Can you explain Silicon Valley real quick? Because I mean, you hear so much about it, but what the hell? I just know like billionaires and super science projects.
So like you don't know what it is or like where it is or
and is it like a Spring River Inn type deal?
No, it's like so
Beverly Hills type deal.
I was gonna say actually that was my example. So when I say Beverly Hills, certain things come to mind, and it is a physical place.
Yes.
Same as with Silicon Valley.
Now, is Beverly Hills like cut off by an official border? Like now we're in Beverly Hills, and Silicon Valley is like a region.
You're right. It's like an area. So what would?
But it's not like a county or something.
Not that I know of. As far as I know, it's just like an area on the map, and they name it because all the tech companies are there. So like Mountain View is where Google is. Okay. It's South San Francisco basically. That's Silicon Valley, and that's where Apple, Google, what's the other? Microsoft, all those guys.
Basically, a bunch of billionaires live there and work.
Well, it turned out to be, It turned out to be just because those companies are there.
Yeah.
And then when they had the .com bubble and all that kind of stuff, and just tech exploded, that area just became like it'd be like, what are you, 24 years old, 23? It'd be like 23. You're working real hard. You're like a geeky, stupid computer guy, and then one day you wake up and you're a billionaire. Like, what do you do with that? You buy a bunch of houses, you know, what do you do with that? But guess what? You're not the only billionaire. There's like 30 of them, you know, and they're just all located in this one spot. What are you going to do with $1 billion? Make more businesses. And so that's what they all did. And that's why that area is called Silicon Valley.
Well, why Silicon?
Because these are silicon-based technologies or whatever, right? You know what's interesting about silicon? And I just learned this in Cell Bio maybe a couple months ago or whatever. Carbon is tetravalent, meaning that it can bond 4 times.
Valence electrons.
It can valently bond. So it has 4 electrons in its outer shell that are just ready to bond.
Right.
So it's
like carbon?
What?
Like carbon?
No, I'm talking about carbon.
Oh, they're talking about silicon.
Well, if you go down that list,
okay.
If you go down on the periodic table, like the periodic table is extremely revealing.
They're where it's supposed to be.
Yes,
right.
exactly.
Right.
There's a purpose for why they're there.
Sure.
So if you go to carbon and you follow that down, everything underneath carbon is tetravalent.
Okay.
If you go down 3, silicon is there. It's tetravalent, which is interesting.
So it can just make the connections that it needs to make.
The maximum amount of bonds.
Right.
You can only make 4 bonds.
Right.
Maximum-wise.
So it can connect with any other, well, not any other molecule, but the widest array of molecules.
As far as I understand, yes,
right.
The widest array.
Which
I just think
why carbon is so important, because it's the simplest yet.
Yeah, exactly.
What did you say? Tetravalent.
Tetravalent.
Right.
Mm-hmm. What was interesting to me was they talk about carbon-based life forms, right?
Okay.
Which is us.
Yes.
Is flesh and
Now
blood.
we have
and
silicon-based life forms.
yes, and it's kind of right
which
along.
is more advanced.
Silicon.
Yeah.
It's more complex, but I don't know if that's good in the scheme of life. You know, usually simple is like pretty
true.
Good.
More building block type rather than
the more complex, like a bacteria, just binary fissions. You know, you gotta squirt into a 9-month thing. You know, it's like crazy.
Oh, right. Full body and everything.
And think about how many systems you have going on. You know, like, and your brain is controlling a million things. And like, make sure his blood pressure's good. Make sure he's breathing. You know,
heartbeat.
A bacteria is like
yeah.
metabolize.
But wouldn't you say a bacteria is part of a bigger system? Compared to we are the, and I hate to even say that, we are the total system, because what are we, you know, without everything else?
One of the highest, most complex systems yet, for sure. But I would argue plants eukaryotes are pretty complex.
Yes.
So, and Homo sapiens fall upon that. And you know, I don't think we're any more complex than an orangutan or a gorilla physically.
Compared to prokaryotes.
Definitely way more complex than prokaryotes. But prokaryotes have a lot of tricks. They have a lot of things they can do that we can't.
Like photosynthesize?
Some of them can, yeah. The cyanobacteria, they can photosynthesize. So archaea can live in like anything.
When
live in
can
volcanoes.
we manipulate our genetics to where we can photosynthesize for energy, and we stop eating completely and just get out in the sun?
I don't know if it would work with our system, because chlorophyll. If you look at I guess it'd be a chlorophyll molecule. It looks like a flower, and the middle is a magnesium ion, and that's what gives you the green tint. Is because it's reflecting.
I'd go green. Let's go full Martian.
You would. Well, the key would be, here's the key.
Or Martian's gray.
Yeah. Thanks, Hollywood. Here's the key. Maybe you could be green only when you're photosynthesizing. So you could be normal human pink Homo sapien color, but when you're photosynthesizing or creating energy, you go green.
Now, would you go off a dual source? Would you go off of
I would.
Food calories?
I totally would.
And photosynthesize?
Yeah, totally.
But is it your choice?
Hopefully.
It would be nice.
Hopefully you could just switch it off and on.
To have like the skin pigment ready.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder how you'd sleep. Could you...
You'd just be so jacked.
Yeah. Off of food and off of...
Well, you'd be making shitloads of ATP, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Assumedly, like if that's how the photosynthesis worked, which, yeah.
But here's the problem. The chemical processes and the products of that process. So what's the product of photosynthesis
compared to the energy output to make the ATP to like digest the sunlight?
Yeah, like what sort of products are created at the end of photosynthesis?
Wouldn't that be ATP?
That's part of it, but name another one.
Oh, I don't know.
Oxygen.
Oh,
right. And your metabolic processes cellular respiration.
So let's
the product is
dual up, get rid of
CO2.
the digestive system and the lungs, and we become plant people that use sunlight for ATP.
I mean, man,
the problem
maybe.
is what if it's like cloudy out for the day? Everybody's gonna be down in the dumps because nobody's making any energy because nobody has lungs or digestive system to make energy.
Well, I mean, like I got plants over here and they're doing just
Everybody
fine.
be carrying around grow lights.
Artificial,
You know, like grow lights in your car.
artificial, yeah, right.
Man, that'd be weird. I'm down. with it.
Maybe that's how we get past sleeping. Is we get the chlorophyll molecules and then like artificial light like this.
Now, what is it about the brain that makes us want to sleep?
Good question, man. I have no clue.
Sunlight. Well,
I definitely like sleeping.
Evolution in sunlight because there was a rotation.
Obviously, that's definitely a part of it.
Some sort of rest period where it's like, I don't know. It's really strange.
It's definitely good, and it's definitely influenced by the rotation of the Earth and the diurnal night and day type thing,
and even that we rely mostly on vision.
Yeah,
what are you going to do
right.
at night?
Exactly.
Without artificial light,
right?
You're not going to
even
be like,
torches or anything. It's manipulated. Like a
Right.
lion in sunlight, you can track it real well.
Right.
A lion with a torchlight, you got like a 10-foot radius,
Right.
and it's scary as hell.
Yeah.
So yeah, we definitely there's so many things that influence that.
Sure.
Like you said, vision. We're so reliant on vision, even now more. Like all the new technologies that have come out. Like I'm thinking of this in particular. Vision. It's all visual.
All visual.
Skype.
You can't use a phone without visual.
No. I mean, there's some Braille phones coming out.
Is there really?
I think so. I thought I
Wow.
saw a little like Verge video.
Maybe voice command if you really can manipulate that well.
Did you see the Samsung S8?
No, I didn't.
Pretty sure it was announced today, and I watched
really?
a video. They had like an Apple thing, press conference.
Apple? Samsung?
It looked like Apple.
Oh.
It looked like Apple.
I see.
But they talk about how much voice command is in this. Like they are taking the first steps to get away from touch anything.
Wow.
All voice.
Huh.
Yeah. The voice command, it has retina scans and facial scans to unlock it.
I don't like that.
I do. Sort of.
The one,
It's freaky.
because there's other phones that have the facial scans, but the
Mhm.
one thing you gotta like click it to turn it on,
Mhm.
and then like
No.
hold it up to where you show your face.
Not Samsung S8.
Like it has a circle, and you put your face in the circle, and it's like you gotta line up.
Mhm.
All right, unlock.
You do that one time, like you do like me. Did you have a fingerprint scanner?
I've done it before.
So you have to do like the side
Sure,
and everything,
right.
and then it's almost
Right.
good. That's the same thing. So you do like one. Dude, they showed a video where a guy went like this, and they
right.
go, it's incredibly fast. It was literally like 1 second, and it just
Yeah.
unlocked.
Yeah,
So
I saw
that's
him.
scary as hell. Retina
Some
scanner.
face tracking technology.
Yeah, it's freaky, but at the same time, it's awesome. It's so awesome. It makes it so convenient, like no more passwords, no more like patterns to get into your phone. Just like grab your phone. This is an idea that I had a while back that I put in my phone notes, is that I am sick and tired of remembering passwords to all my places on the internet. I would rather have a webcam that looked at me and I was known on the internet. So wherever
Don't you tape up your webcam though?
yeah, I'd untape it for that though.
Would you?
So for instance, so I go, computer, take me to Facebook. So it takes me to Facebook, and instead of going password username, it just sees me and it goes, yeah, come on in. I come out, it's Colton, I come on in, and if I get up to go take a piss and then you sit down, you're like, I'm gonna leave a funny message.
Nope.
Like the computer's like, access denied.
That's not the same argument, but there's the argument for smart guns as well.
Yeah.
To where
Fingerprint.
Yeah. Like unless that trigger reads your fingerprint, it's
Right.
not shooting. It's
Yeah.
not gonna fire.
Mm-hmm.
It's not bad.
Yeah. You watch Vice documentaries?
Not really.
You should. They actually have a documentary over that smart gun technology.
I don't know about
a guy
Vice.
Ooh, let's talk about that. Why don't you like Vice? I love Vice.
I didn't say I didn't like it. I said I don't know about.
What don't you know about Vice?
I just it just seems like I don't know. They're into like a counterculture type
Big
news,
time. Yeah.
and they don't get what is normally covered, which
Mhm.
it's not like you're looking for that. What did Trump do now? You're not looking for that.
Right. Easily found.
But at the same time, Vice just it has a really wide coverage area, and I haven't really gotten to explore a ton of it yet. But it just
Mhm.
seems like there's a lot of content out there. Maybe just
Oh
a
my
kind of like a
God.
daunting
There really
task.
is.
Maybe yeah.
They actually, so they're like, there's a Vice channel, which is like main channel. Then there's an HBO, I believe it's HBO, called Vice Land.
Yes, I've heard of that.
So that's the one that
watched it,
costs. That's the one that costs. But
you have to pay for it.
Yeah, I can help you get it. And then they have other things like, so on the YouTube channel, they have the Vice channel, and then they have channels underneath the Vice, like sister channels or whatever. So one that I really enjoy is called Motherboard, and it's just kind of strictly technology and stuff. So for instance,
I've seen you share some Motherboard
yeah,
stuff.
Yeah. It's just kind of like it's like a Vice spinoff. So it feels like Vice, looks like Vice, sounds like Vice, is Vice, but it's kind of underneath Motherboard. So like the one I'm thinking about is the Mammoth, when they're talking about cloning the mammoth. It's like
they're doing.
Yeah, they're definitely doing. And I think it's a 20 or 30 minute mini doc, and it's amazing. It's so cool what they talk about, and they don't downplay the audience like, oh, they're not going to know about genetic engineering. They just throw out the terms. They just fly through it. They're like CRISPR this and Cas9 this, and if you don't know, then you don't know. But if to people who do know, it just makes the media so much more rich to watch.
Makes it more rich, but it also, even if you don't get it, if you're interested enough, you can learn a lot from having a quick Google search right next to the documentary or whatever.
Yeah, I was thinking about bad writing today, and I remember a line in Godzilla.
Oh no, because the new one,
the old one, with Matthew Broderick.
Yeah, the best one.
I love it. And
so good.
and maybe you can correct me on this. I don't know if it's bad writing or whatnot, but like one rule in movies is show don't tell, right?
Yeah, sure.
So there's a moment in Godzilla where they're discussing the beast, and they go, oh, it laid eggs or whatever, and they go, how did it do that? There's not another one to mate with, and the guy goes, it's asexual, and everyone in the room's like, oh no.
What does that mean?
Yeah, exactly. And probably the person watching it too. Obviously, this is where I learned what asexual was.
What was it, 2001 or something? It was
something
early
like
2000s.
Yeah. So everyone looks around like, what the hell is that? And he goes, I think it's Matthew Broderick that actually speaks up and is like, it can do it by itself or whatever. And the girl goes, well, where's the fun in that? Like, so there's like, they're explaining plot. There's comic relief.
Yeah.
And then there's like terminology explanation as well, which whatever, it's fine. I mean, I was a kid and I had no clue. I would have never known.
You know what's really amazing, taking it back to Star Wars, is how mad people got when Qui-Gon Jinn talked about midichlorians.
Oh my God.
Dude, that was like leave it alone. It's just the Force and it's mysterious and don't measure it. Yeah. But now Anakin has the most midichlorians of all time.
Did you ever watch the documentary George Lucas versus the People?
No, but I really...
You need to, man.
Yep, for sure.
Because there is a section about the midichlorians and how they lose their mind.
It's amazing. Anakin,
do you like the midichlorians?
It's like you don't even think about it until you hear there's an uproar and you kind of revisit it and then you maybe watch a scene. I remember not rewatching the movie just for that, but watching episode 1 and hearing that monologue again or whatever. They live within all of us.
Well, what's worse, the monologue or the question? Qui-Gon,
what are midichlorians?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Man, that poor guy.
But the kid too.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it's so sad watching his recent videos. Yes, dude, it's so sad.
That poor guy just got his life ruined from one stupid thing. He'll probably get paid for the rest of his life, but the ridicule.
It doesn't look like it mattered.
No.
Compared to
damn show.
Maybe having a normal kid psych and then when you're older, maybe getting that ridicule, but you're already established. You already kind of have a sense of awareness of who you are and stuff compared to millions.
Yeah, I mean
millions of people calling you out and saying you sucked representing Anakin and
how do you think you would have done, if you were, what is he, like 10 or something?
I don't know. I was young when I watched it, for the
episode 1.
I've seen it many times, but for the many times that I watched it, I was young. I never once kind of thought, man, Anakin, that kid.
I didn't either.
It's it didn't even cross my mind. Nope. That's Anakin. That's the kid. I don't know. His pod racing was fine. Oh, come on! I don't know. It wasn't that bad.
I never had a problem.
Sebulba.
I love Sebulba. I liked his character.
Yeah,
he's a pissed off thing.
Yeah,
he was very alien-like. Yeah. I believe that. If we're gonna go criticizing, I will criticize, and this is not his fault, and this is not Hayden Christensen's fault either. But the age difference between him and Padme, and then Padme does not age, and then Anakin gets older.
Yeah.
Like, Annie,
She's still
Annie.
super hot.
Yeah.
And like no bags under her eyes,
No.
nothing.
I'm a queen. Like, you know, you see the picture of the president like before and after.
Oh, jeez.
The queen, she looks fine. Like,
Yeah.
are you even ruling this
Yeah.
planet? Like, what? You're ruling a planet. Our president rules a nation.
Think about
kind of a
how
planet.
she was. She even had to play the side role, like the side, like there was the empress,
That's right.
or whatever, who
Right.
was like
She
the
was like-
decoy,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
she was just one of like the side maidens, and that was the true queen or whatever. Really, really strange. That she never aged.
Nothing. Not
She-
even like a wrinkle.
And and Anakin like flies up. He's like, Hayden Christensen, he could be like 18, like just barely
guess,
legal
yeah.
by our standards, like Padme almost raped him.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, that story, and I've heard you say this before, that the story of Star Wars is really the story of Anakin.
Yeah.
Like, the whole thing is the story of Anakin. Even Luke, back in the day, Luke Skywalker. That's
George
Anakin.
Lucas said that. George
Yes.
Lucas said Star Wars is the story of Anakin.
Right. And they just fucked his origin up so bad.
I don't know like,
Exactly.
why did the first movies take such a, not the first, but like the episode
The
1 through 3
prequels.
Why did they take such a step back in everything? The quality. I mean,
Part was CGI, right? Just underdeveloped CGI. It was
Yeah.
just technology that was not ready.
yes,
That was part of it.
that was a lot of it.
That was a lot of
That
it.
was a lot, where it would pull you out because you're just watching. And do you remember the it was like they added content,
yeah,
and
right.
it was like,
to the
did you take
originals.
10 minutes to make this beast thing walking across the sand, floating across the sand, because it doesn't even look, it's like its steps don't match up with its progress. Like the foot sliding in the sand somehow.
It reminds me of the show Sex Drive, when we used to watch the unrated version,
Yeah.
and then just naked chicks
Yeah.
would show up. Like,
like-
it's a green screen.
Almost like a screensaver would just pop up, and they weren't there. It was like, what? But the thing is, they put in so many more jokes and spoofs that
yes.
because I watched it with Dylan for the first 5 times or something, we loved it. We died laughing. And then I think they had the edited version on TV.
Uh-huh.
It sucked.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
terrible.
Yep.
It wasn't funny. All the best parts, like the most funny parts, were edited out, and it was like their 15th take.
Right.
That's the one they took where they delivered the line really nice
Perfectly,
instead of
right.
like ad lib, and it was just hilarious to watch.
Right. And there's another part. Han shot first. Are you familiar with that whole thing?
Yeah.
Now, you watch the original. That makes Han such a badass. And then they flipped it to where this guy shot first, and like Han was self-protecting or whatever.
Did he move out of the way or something?
No, he shot second.
Right.
So for the original, like 1970 movie, 1977, I think. Don't
Something
kill
like
me.
that.
Don't kill
Yeah.
me, Star
Yeah,
Wars
no
nerds.
kidding. Something like that.
He's talking to this alien or whatever, and he's got his feet up and the gun underneath the table, and he's like this. And they do their dialogue, and he just shoots this dude, like just cold-hearted, boom, like badass. Like, oh, okay, that's the first scene that we see with Han Solo.
Right. That's Han.
That's Han.
Yep.
Right. We just got introduced to a character like, oh, this guy's awesome, space pirate. Right. That's what he's supposed to be.
Yeah. Smuggler.
In the edit, they reverse it so that they make the alien shoot Han, like miss and shoot, but then Han shoots quick to like the second quick shot. Like, I don't know why they would do that.
I was gonna
Hurts
say,
my
it's,
head
like,
to
it's like,
even-
what's the point?
Hurts my head to even.
What are you accomplishing with? He got surprised and maybe flinched just enough to where it missed his face.
So
And
it makes him weaker.
yeah,
It makes him like, I'm not going to shoot you. I'm trying to have a reasonable
when he shoots
conversation.
first, it's like, I'm getting out of this no
Yeah.
matter what you
Yeah.
think is happening. Like,
I don't owe you money.
I'll play with you real quick,
Sure.
but I'm getting ready to leave with these new guys. They're paying me.
you to pay
Yeah.
me. You know.
Jabba wants his pay.
Like, well, tell Jabba to boom.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this guy is awesome.
And then they take off.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh,
Let's go,
shit,
kid.
That's
Let's
a
go.
pirate there.
Oh man.
Dude, I'm sorry to bring up Jocko again, but he took his kids. Where did he take them? He took them to like a movie or something, or some sort of maybe like a Disney ride or something. It was like all pirated out and stuff.
Oh,
And he-
like Small World or Pirates of the Caribbean?
No. It was like something for kids.
Okay.
And it was a book. He bought a book for him, and it was just like a quick, good pirate book. Probably have some good stuff in it. And he read it, and here he's expecting like probably pillaging and
Right.
pirate, you
Yeah,
know,
right,
like cutting throats and stuff.
Make
And
him walk the plank.
he was so disappointed that is like, this is such a poor representation of pirates
yeah.
that it just wasn't even. Why would you want to teach your kid the false representation of pirates?
Yeah.
Maybe for like Halloween or something. You want to be a pirate? Okay,
Yeah.
you're not going to go out and rape and burn houses and villages, but
Come on, Bobby. You got to get in character.
at the same time, it's like maybe get a good representation of what pirates were actually really like, and ruthless fucking bandits that were
just scallywags, dude. Just
completely
absolute-
sexually frustrated for days on end.
Yeah.
Just in the middle of the ocean getting nothing.
They thought they saw mermaids. They were jerking off to mermaids,
yeah.
you know, like
big manatees with tits.
they're like, oh my
yeah,
god.
yeah.
Oh, I thought about that same thing when Kai and my nephew, when we were decorating. Well, my wife Kelsey was decorating his room. They had some pirate wallpaper up, and these guys look like the Veggie Tales of pirates. They're like, you know, there's Blackbeard, the red shirt, big beard. He's kind of overweight. You know, that's always Blackbeard. He'd probably be appalled that he's overweight. But,
Yeah.
But there's all these like stereotypical representations, and I'm just sitting there thinking,
Oh man,
these guys were so ruthless.
like Vikings.
You do not want your son, your little 2-year-old, 3-year-old, 4-year-old son to be like, pirates are great. Like, listen, do you know what those guys used to do to villages?
Theoretically,
While they're pirate ships?
if you saw a pirate ship entering your bay, ground the military, like
Get the cannons,
yeah,
like,
get the cannons,
holy
get
shit.
everybody, like, oh, it's gonna be real. Hide your kids, all that.
They are going to fuck your wife and then cut her head off.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, is that the level that they're at?
I mean, I would think
I think so too.
I mean, maybe not like every pirate. Maybe some pirates were like, or maybe even maybe they had like what's that? What is it in Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yeah.
The Singapore,
Only a guideline.
Singapore, or
Like the
Barbados.
Barbosa?
Barbossa's the dude.
Barbosa.
They go to like some islands or
Yeah.
something, and it's like, it's not like pirate friendly, but it's like a
Oh.
village that's like, hey, you know, like kind of mutual grounds.
Tortuga.
Tortuga, yeah.
Tortuga.
Now we have Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Men Tell No Tales coming up.
God.
Stephen Mark said it best. I mean, one
Disney. Another Disney.
One was incredible. Pirates of the Caribbean, Dead Man's Curse or something like that. No, that
Black Pearl.
Black Pearl. Curse of the Black Pearl.
Great.
Unbelievable.
Fantastic.
You know, he keeps the coin and stumbles back into the light and like, oopsies. You know, he's still alive.
Amazing.
You know, so good.
Amazing.
And
I just want to watch it right now.
And then all of a sudden 2 and 3, and you got Davy Jones and
whoa. Wow. Off the cliff. Yeah. And it's just it's the intent and energy behind each one of those things. The same with Fast and the Furious. The same with, what were we talking about? Star Wars. All these. They're just money. Make all the money you can. And I don't want to say it, the filmmakers, the writers, the directors, and the gaffers and PAs, they're not trying to make a shitty movie. They're trying to make the best movie they can. But for some reason, they're tainted. It's tainted. You just can't.
Well, it's like the original is gone. Fast and Furious came out. I was like, what's it? A street racing movie? Cool. You know,
awesome.
And now it's like we've had so much exposure to the same shit.
Same characters. How many times are the characters going to get away from the cops when they blast off a bridge and the minigun of the helicopter misses just barely? You know,
mean,
like,
do you think Paul Walker's death probably did the franchise a favor?
Probably
Not that they
so.
were even hurting for money, because like everyone, it's like Transformers. You know, people just go crazy over it. They just want to see it.
Oh, that's another one.
And
Last
yeah,
Night
that
or
keeps
something
going.
like that.
Yeah, it keeps going. And
First one was really awesome.
And now we're on, you know, I can only hope that the fate of the Furious means we leave it, like we leave this one with the fate. This is the fate of the fucking Fast and the Furious, because I'm sick and tired of seeing previews and Dominic Toretto and Vin Diesel.
And the cars.
Much love, all love. I don't know if anybody watches or sees them on Instagram, but my goodness.
The cars just
family
get
first.
more Hot Wheels like the
Hot Wheels, man,
The first
for sure.
Fast and Furious, the cars were so awesome.
I still want.
They
like
were
a
the real
1999 Mitsubishi Eclipse because
95
of Brian's.
Toyota Supra. You know, like
So
those were
good.
the most real
Yeah.
fucking cars of all.
Yeah.
They were real cars, and like I think you've watched this, the commentary on the DVD of Fast and Furious.
Man, yeah, it's been a while, but yeah.
Oh, amazing.
Goddamn street racers.
That's the director.
Yeah.
If you out there have never watched a DVD commentary, please watch Fast and Furious. It is a 2-hour film school.
It's so
lecture.
worth it.
It's
and
amazing.
Those what were they? Commentaries?
Yeah, commentaries.
They're so good.
Some
especially with the director.
Pineapple Express was terrible.
Oh, really?
There's like someone walks in the booth. Hey, Jimmy, what's going on?
I feel like you need the director there. Like there's some without the director.
Yeah,
and it's just kind of like it is. They're almost bullshitting. And it's like if the director's there, he can really give you.
Yeah.
All right, this was whatever day 45.
Right.
And
I'll never forget one of the things that the guys. I can't think of the director's name for Fast and Furious, but he pointed out something in the background. He's like, this neighborhood in LA that we shot at, we painted everybody's house white and gray so that the cars would stand out more. So the cars are like these brilliant blues and these vibrant reds and greens, and they sound amazing. And they all pull up. They all drive like fucking bats out of hell.
Yeah,
like like. But if you watch carefully, every house and everything in the background is like just dull, and the cars are just like, oh.
So I love about it, man.
Spaceships.
It gives you so much a deeper view of your movie if you really want to know. Corey Ball, Corey. Shout out to Corey if he's listening. Hopefully he is.
He's awesome.
I think he would. I don't know if he does, but I think he would really enjoy those commentaries because he's wanting to get into the multimedia business, such as we are. Yeah, and I think commentaries are. Like you said, some of them can be amazing. Just incredible.
Oh, there's whole websites dedicated like best commentaries, like watch this commentary for this reason. There's another part in Fast and Furious, the very last part where he's like, I owe you a 10-second car or whatever. And I guess they had a screening for like select audiences, like, what do you think of the movie? And at the very end, he's asking questions like, what did it mean to you? Like, what was the moral of the story or whatever? And I guess some people were like, it's a cool action movie, or the cars were cool. And then I guess one guy gets the mic and goes, honor among friends. And I guess the director was like, it was worth it.
Wow.
The whole movie was worth it.
If somebody can pull it.
Because that's what it is at the very end. Right. He owes a debt.
Yeah. Stuck to his word.
I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah. I see him.
Stuck to his word in the face of his career, his lover, everything.
Yeah.
Losing it all. I owe you it. Like, oh my fuck.
Debt paid.
The whole movie is worth it for that one scene.
Toretto doesn't say anything. He just shakes his head like, yeah, you do. And if you're going to do this, I'm taking these keys. And that's what happens. And I love how, like, I think honor among friends. Friends is a key word here because Toretto isn't, give me this fucking Supra and I'm getting out of here. He's not selling it. He's not like, because he could take Brian. He's not like pushing him to the edge, like, give me this car. It's just, it's friends, and Toretto's going to go down. Like, they hear the sirens. Yeah. And Toretto's he's not budging. He's holding his arm. He just had a bad wreck,
Right.
And, he's not going anywhere. And then Brian turns. And then,
Right. It makes me think of another part because there's a very character revealing scene. Hopefully you've seen Fast and the Furious, where 2 times where the police chief, our favorite guy to make fun of, talks about Toretto's background. Like he beat a man almost to death. Yeah. And then and then Toretto talks about it in a super deep monologue. Like they played the music, the instrument
in the garage.
Just over and over
kept
again.
beating and beating. And
so his self-control is low, right? Like that's a character flaw. And then what you just pointed out is that his self-control right there, he's just like, I'm having self-control not to kill you. Yeah. I'm having self-control not to drive away. Like he overcomes his character flaw and it pays off because Brian sees that in a way.
I want to say that's right after, I guess that's right after Jesse gets shot, right? Dom knows he's a cop.
Before. No,
Brian
it's
pulls
the
up.
first time.
Brian rips up to their house. Jesse's in the yard. Dom has the Charger out of the garage, but he's not driving it, right? He's like getting a shotgun or something.
Yeah.
Something with
badass
a
shotgun.
Yeah, silver and black.
Metalled out.
And Brian pulls out a pistol. Dom, stop right there, blah, blah, blah. Drive-by happens. 2 dirt bikes or whatever. Brian has to go after the dirt bikes.
Yeah. No, the scene that I'm talking about happens pretty far.
No, because then Vin takes out one of the dirt bikes. Brian takes out the other.
Well, then they go to the quarter mile.
And then after the dirt bikes are taken care of, Brian looks up to like, there's like a high shot of the Charger, and you can see its side, and all of a sudden, whoa, it takes off. Brian runs to his car, takes off after the Charger.
Right.
Then they meet up. You know, that railroad track's a quarter mile
And
away
you just
from
hear,
here.
and the light's red, you know.
On green, going for it.
That's another cool part. Yeah.
Oh man, I need to watch that.
Brian
movie
could just
again.
arrest him, right? Just shoot his tires and be like, "You're going to jail."
Good.
But he's with this moment. Like, what a crazy moment. Like,
Same with-
their world is falling around them.
Yeah, same with Ben too, as he knows Brian's a
He's got a
cop.
shotgun in the car.
He knows Brian's a cop. He knows he's been undercover this whole time. He knows he's sleeping with his sister.
Right.
On green, I'm going for
Yeah,
it.
that's all that matters. And there's a fucking train. Of course, there's a train. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's such an amazing movie.
Dude, I mean, could you do that with Fast 5, 6,
No, I mean,
7,
no.
3, 4, 2?
And it's such
8.
the fate. Fast and Furious.
Come on, dude. There's so
Let's
much
add in the rock
depth. There's
and missiles.
so much depth into that Fast and Furious 1.
Absolutely.
It is incredible.
Incredible. As far as story, characters, even the filmmaking
Even
itself.
action in
Even
film, the
action.
races, the seeing the NOS.
Yeah, we're flying through the car.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh man.
That's why that movie was so. And it showed you like a world, like an underground world, like with Ludacris, like fuck you, bitch. You know,
Yeah.
like I felt like I was there, like
Yeah.
watching the races, and you know, there's
Yeah.
there's like different sects, like
Whole
the
scene,
Asians over here. They
yeah.
got like these
Tuners.
crazy rice rockets
Yeah,
or
yeah,
whatever,
yeah, yeah.
and it's so amazing. Yeah, and it's a trite thing to say that as long as you have story, like that's the most important thing about a movie or a book or maybe even like music and painting.
Wasn't the narration
to
as well?
have-
Telling that story, you got to tell it right.
Oh, and you have to tell it correctly. Well,
If
not
it's through
correctly,
film.
But, no, yeah, definitely. No, that's a great point. Like you have to have a good story, and not only do you have to have a good story, you also have to tell it well.
Right.
Think of have you watched Westworld?
Nope.
Okay, think about Mr. Robot.
Yeah.
So what if they would have told that story in a different what was I going to say? A different oh, there it goes.
Approach?
Not approach, in a different order, like as far as episodes go. What if they just swap some of those episodes out? Where the story still works.
Like Pulp Fiction style?
Sure. It's like sort of like Pulp Fiction style, right? Make sure that the story still works, but then tell it. It probably wouldn't convey the message, the story, the characters as well as it did.
That show is so unbelievable that's like, it's almost a bad example to use because how do you get it any better? Like there's some that's like, you did really good, but maybe mixing it up, like you'd still have a valid point with what you did.
Right.
Even like maybe a Fight Club. What if you remixed Fight Club to a non-order type?
Well, not
You
necessarily.
might be able to do it.
Right. I didn't mean non-order like specifically. I just meant tell it differently and tell it less efficiently. Like the way that they chose to tell it in what order and what things to focus on made it brilliant. Right. The story is kind of there the whole time, but it's like focus on this. Make sure you don't forget that. You know, it's kind of showing you where to go. But if you screw with that or do it poorly, then your great story sucks. And that's what you just said. So I was just trying to like expand on that, right?
No, it makes sense. I just got to give props to Mr. Robot. My goodness. I mean, I've told people, like, oh, you know, you need to watch it. And I almost want to hold back that it's about a programmer and like computer programming. Just because it, like, I don't want to turn them off because of that, because not everybody's like into that, but it's almost like Sons of Anarchy. Like, I don't want to watch some biker show. Like, no. It's way deeper than that. You know, it gets way deeper than just some bike gang. And I guess a lot of it is drama, but it's like, it feels like real drama. You know, it's like it's a mother-son relationship. It's a stepdad, stepson relationship. There's like real elements to the story that it's not just like, You're not going to be watching a YouTube tutorial on how to type C, C++.
Right.
And now I'm going to type.
But I will say they do drop in a lot of hacking terminology that is like real.
That's true.
They talk about the root. They talk about Kali Linux and all that kind of stuff.
But I'm not even super familiar with that, and I still got a lot. I still understood the story.
Sure.
Maybe there were times where they went over some stuff, but it was more about the monologues, especially like episode 1.
Oh yeah,
is
the
more
anti-society.
It was
type
more
thing.
about that. Like I pulled way more out of that than I would have of any like backslash C, whatever.
Yep. My point in this, getting the terminology at least somewhat correct and somewhat real, is that if you're a guy like me, which I consider myself like sort of knowledgeable about computers and stuff, like I couldn't hack anything if I wanted to, but I know a lot about computers. So if they were to say like we're gonna code an F, like to me it would jolt me out of the story. Like what? There's not an F program.
Right.
Like,
I kind of got jolted right there.
See,
just like what was this?
Exactly. So if they stick it, and that is probably really a delicate place for a storyteller. Like how much do you make up and how much do you keep in the real world?
Does the 555 phone number throw you off?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it does me
big
too.
time. There's a scene in Fight Club.
Yeah.
The scene where he gets Tyler Durden's number and it's like boom.
Yep. You see that 555.
It's actually
Is there no other combination? Like sure. Why isn't there anything?
Well, I was gonna talk. I have a textbook about movies. It was like I bought it off Amazon years and years ago, and it's like an actual textbook that you were supposed to take a intro to movie course or whatever, and they talk about that 555, and a lot of that has to do with things like Fight Club. I think Memento has 555. They're all low budget. They're just like filmmakers just barely getting by. They haven't like blown up yet.
But why?
Because probably just for legality issues.
271.
It's
like
somebody's number. It's going to be somebody's number.
Come on.
Surely.
They can't have every 3 digit. It's in the middle.
Right.
It's in the middle. And it's like 417-555-6732.
Right.
It's like it's that middle number.
Right. Always.
Why can't it be like there's no way that every area code, which the first 3 is the area code.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the second 3 are. And I don't know what the last 4 is. The last 4 I would think is like a lock combination that can't be.
It's like identity.
Yeah, like identity. Mm-hmm. And somebody in Northeast Oklahoma gets 1257, and then someone in Southwest Oklahoma gets 1574, or like something close.
Actually, I think what you're saying is the 555, the middle digits. So I think area code. So like, okay, there's the area. And
417-620, whatever.
Yeah, right. 918, whatever.
Yeah, 918.
714.
Yeah.
Honey Beach. Then, so you have that area code. Then I feel like the next 3 numbers are
subcategory.
Exactly. Areas of that area code, because growing up, all of our phones
533
were 533. Now mine's 961. Kelsey's is 961, which is like a Miami base. So I feel like they kind of congregate the first 2, and then after that. So, I mean, if Miss Davis was here, she could totally break down how many combinations of 9 different numerical subholders, whatever you call it.
But if the movie's based in California, you're gonna want that. I don't know what it is, 819 or something.
That's 714.
714
or the 818, which is Hollywood.
Oh, okay.
There's a ton of them.
But yeah, the exterior first number, like you could have that as if you're doing if your story takes place in California,
right?
You do that number, but then you do a false number to where maybe even Californians don't even know, like maybe it's up north, or maybe
people
it's
call
down
it.
south.
People call it. There's
exactly. That's why you can't use a real one. You can't use 620-848.
You can, but you leave a message like Mr. Robot. There's a number in there, and if you call it, it's like F Society. Like,
but that's so beautiful.
F Society.
That's that's so beautiful about Mr. Robot is you got to look closer and you find that number,
right?
Or you decode that number somehow, and then you can.
And that might be like
call it
the evolution of filmmaking. Like just put a number in there.
Interactive.
Nobody cares.
Interactive
Well, it built up to interactive. So like at first, maybe the filmmakers had no idea that 555 would jolt people out as hard as it does. Right? Just toss it in there. Whatever. It's just we're just showing.
Seems like they still don't. Like
we're just showing a number. Right?
Yeah.
Maybe that's just poor filmmaking. But the more the film evolves and the more interactive it becomes, it's like, hey, we can't put 555 in. Like that distresses me. It's going to distress all the audience. Put a real number in there, purchase a real number, and then put something cool that like a little Easter egg. So if you're a big fan of, it's not going to be in Game of Thrones, but if you're a big fan of Game of Thrones and like there's a combination on the wall, well, that combination oh, that's actually 9 digits. That's actually a phone number, and you call it, and it's like, oh, this is Lannistes, and thank you for calling. It's kind of like a cool fan thing, It doesn't.
So
mean
is that
anything.
something that like Universal would set up? Like, we're gonna take this phone number and just leave it as a voicemail, and
Yeah, I feel like
we'll just
the
save this
production.
number.
Yeah, the production company would take
take
care of
$5
that.
a month or something.
Yeah,
for
exactly.
Like a simple.
Yes,
and just
exactly.
leave it at that.
I would
Like,
think
there's
that-
plenty of money.
The director probably has.
We'll just
no
keep paying
say.
for it for however
Yeah.
long, and then disconnect it, and
Right.
everybody forgets about it or
Yeah,
something.
right. And then but even today, like with the internet, things like that can live on quite a bit longer. So, for instance, like a Mr. Robot thing,
Right.
someone on the internet could record that, upload it, and then they could dispose of it later on. But like, oh, back in the day, all you Mr. Robot fans, like you probably missed this Easter egg, but look, this is what it was. I've seen that with Mr. Robot with certain hacking things.
You go to their website and like type in a password and you have
it's
the right password.
Freaking complex.
Yeah, it's really crazy.
I don't know who figured that out.
F Society and
Yeah, it's really cool. It's cool because it's starting to branch out. TV in general starting to branch out into other areas. So like if you're a fan of a TV show, you can tune into that, watch this story, follow these characters. But then there's this other things that are happening that make the show feel even more real. For instance, like Mr. Robot's website. It's like a real website.
you can go to it.
I can go. There's an F Society website, or
It almost-
what's
it-
Evil Corp? It's like an Evil Corp website.
It puts you in the position of a hacker. It feels
Yeah,
cool.
right.
Like your screen kind of is flickering, but it's supposed to do that. So you're like,
Right.
and also it'll go to like the that face that they wear, or whatever,
Yeah.
in their videos.
Guy
and,
Farkas.
and it's
not
like
Guy Farkas,
type
but-
in your password,
Yeah,
or
right.
whatever,
Which is like this totally Hollywood stereotypical hacker, like a real hacker.
But
is
it's
like
beautiful. Like it really,
Cheetos.
it really makes you feel so
Yeah.
cool, and like I'm part of the F Society culture and
right.
family or whatever.
thinking of that and then seeing the towel that's on the wall behind you. I
Yes.
remember when Lost World came out, you could go to InGen.com and it would crash on you when you're there, like for cinematic effects. So you'd be like, you looking through and it's like, at InGen we create blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, oh my god,
Kind of freaking out.
Yeah, right. Like it had like a cool experience
Yeah.
for you. So I mean, I guess it's been happening longer.
It's kind of like a foreshadowing in a way. Like if you
Kinda.
haven't seen the movie or if you
Yeah.
watched it and it's like you kind of know what happens and all of a sudden it's like engine, it's like, oh geez,
Yeah,
what's gonna
right.
happen?
Yeah,
These are the
right.
guys in control of the dinosaurs. Damn it.
What do you think of Jurassic World? Just CGI shit. Raptors that ran with a motorcycle. Give me a break. What is this, Disneyland?
Chris Pratt, it's like you gotta find the pretty boy.
Yeah.
He reminded me of a. I just have to give him shit for this because it's like, okay, I'll just say his name, Josh Peck, Drake and Josh.
Oh right. Yeah.
Used to be the fat, funny,
Oh right.
and then all of a sudden Drake and Josh gets done.
right.
It's like, I want to be healthy,
Right.
almost like a
Jonah Hill.
Jonah Hill,
Yeah.
But Jonah Hill kind of punched back up,
Yeah.
and I like that because it's just like that's just Jonah Hill.
Yeah.
And now Josh Peck is like this pretty boy.
Right.
And it's like, dude, that's not you.
Right.
Like, I
Well,
guess it kind of is
yeah, I
because
was gonna say.
that's what he's doing now. And
Mhm.
okay, whatever. But I don't know. A little part of me is just like, oh, you just wanted to be the pretty boy, and
Right.
like
But I mean, what's wrong with him just getting healthy? Like, man, I'm fat. Everyone
that's
laughs
the
at
other
me.
thing. I think. Which I
What
think
if he had
he's-
good intentions?
I'm sure he did.
Yeah.
I think I would be in the wrong of accusing him for having.
Right.
Not that they were even bad intentions, but maybe even like a little jealousy factor. Just like,
Right.
fuck you, man. Like,
I used to be
I
better
wanna-
than you.
I'm gonna be like Josh or Drake. I want to be skinny like Drake.
All the girls wanted Drake.
Yeah,
Josh
exactly.
was just like this.
and
side
Josh was
character.
the comedic
Yeah.
side man.
But he had more smarts than Drake. Drake was like
Drake was dumb,
driven on testosterone.
Right.
Like you're gonna get in trouble
Right.
if you mess around with this.
which that
chick.
was the character development,
Yeah,
right? You
right.
know?
Josh pulled him out, and then their sister was diabolical and
Yeah.
just like the mastermind.
Yeah.
Super hot.
Is she? I think she's singing now, or she came out with like an album.
She
or a
did
song.
iCarly, didn't she? She went like shot over to iCarly.
and then she did.
I forget her name.
Shit. Miranda Cosgrove.
I mean, I like Drake and Josh. It was actually a decent.
I did
little
too. I
show.
just give Josh. Type in Josh Peck and look at him, like
Oh.
fat and hideous in here,
I would
and now he's like
hideous.
I'm some pretty boy. Oh, look at that cute.
He reminds
look
me
at
of
that guy.
Jonah
Just
Hill. Not Jonah Hill.
that
he
guy.
reminds me.
Look at that. Yeah, just like, oh.
Oh yeah,
I should be on a cover of a magazine.
I like this Josh Peck.
Yes, that's the Josh Peck that everybody dramatic transformation.
Well, that is. Look at this guy. He's got a look at his
Dude. Just
look at his chin.
pisses me off.
I mean, he is a good looking guy, I guess, right? Like
I can't take it away from him, yeah, but it's
if you would have grown up with this, I mean, I guess let's see what's the other guy's name?
Drake?
Yeah. Maybe he got shitty. Maybe.
I don't know what his name. Drake Bell.
Drake Parker. No, Drake Bell, yeah, that's right. Where's Drake Bell now? He's like coked out.
He's like Macaulay Culkin.
Oh, poor
Dude,
son of a bitch.
Yes, dude.
Oh, look, yeah, he
looks all right.
he's okay.
Maybe some drugs.
I don't know. He looks like he's dying of AIDS. Right here.
Yeah, it does look like
that's
oh no,
arrested on suspicion.
Oh no,
of something.
For a DUI.
Oh yeah, he couldn't handle it. I hate that we're laughing at. There's how I remember. Drake.
Yeah. Kind of like that.
So interesting.
Jeez, like that.
I mean, compared to Josh, I mean, this is kind of super gay or whatever, but I mean, like, that's a terrible shot,
dude. It just makes me mad that all of a sudden he like wants to play this pretty boy part, and it's like, no, play your. I don't know. That's like a type. Yeah, there he is.
Yeah,
that's like a typecasting type deal.
Definitely.
But at the same time, it's like I don't want to meet this guy anymore. I don't want to fucking.
Oh, okay.
He's gonna be.
So
like,
what do you think that says about like human nature? Like we do that to people that we
look
know.
Look at that. What is that?
All right, looks
you're
like
not gonna do that with your fat face. Now you're gonna do it.
And Fitch.
You're gonna do it with your fucking skinny face.
Is it because he like takes himself too seriously? Yeah. Look at that transformation. Jesus, puberty. That's one of those memes. Puberty.
Oh, geez. Anyway, what?
Yeah, like what do you think that does, or what do you think that says about like human nature? Because we would do this to our friends. For instance, like if Trevor,
I was gonna say Trevor
shaved his beard.
Oh, he lost a bunch of weight.
Well, that's good, but we knew his intentions. Like he was like, I want to be healthy or whatnot, and he wasn't trying to be whatever. But say he like shaves his beard, slicks his hair back, puts a suit on, and starts going to like an office job or something. That's not really a good example, but it's such a drastic change. We're like, dude, that's not you. But what if it is?
But like you said, and the one thing I can't take away from Josh is that maybe it was celebrities who went from fat to fabulously fit. Maybe it was very well intentioned. Maybe it was, man, I am big and I need to really like get healthy.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's almost like he's exploiting it, like with these pictures.
Wouldn't you? If you looked that good, if you had those sort of blue eyes and everything, and you worked in the industry of beauty, like Hollywood is anti-aging, beauty, and falseness, fakeness.
The problem is I can't project myself there. I really can't put myself in his shoes to where you were a success as a big man, as a big, like you did not play the attractive part.
No,
you did in the sense of like the cute, funny, cuddly,
right. This guy's not
innocent.
Gonna try to fuck me.
Yeah, exactly. He's not gonna try to fuck me. He's not gonna try to fight me.
Yeah, no.
You know, he's just the nerdy.
He's your sidekick.
To this transformed, and I mean, I can't take anything away from him. And like I said, a lot of it might be ego, jealousy, just damn him, you know.
Right,
but
it's just crazy how someone like him, who obviously we've never met or whatnot, I'm sure he's a lovely.
I'm sure he's real nice. Oh, for sure.
But it's such a jolt to us who are like fans. Like we thought we knew who you were, and now you've drastically changed so much. It disturbs us.
And that's a big one with actors. So I hear is, no, I'm not the Terminator. You know, like I'm not this robot Terminator. I'm a dude, and I'm an actor. And that's the weird thing is that they pay me to be this character.
Right.
This is not Leonardo DiCaprio. This is some Revenant character.
Yeah.
You know, that's what they pay me to do, is to be this fake person.
Right.
And then I have this real person, but people love their movies.
Right.
And that must be you, right? Qui-Gon Jinn.
Man, he's so cool.
No, I'm Liam Neeson, dude.
Yeah, what if Liam Neeson plays like croquet? Like he has no sense of any sort of martial arts or anything.
Exactly.
Like, he probably is, you know. Whatever, you're fucking cool, but
he's cool as hell still, but exactly. Yeah, for sure.
What was I was thinking about a particular example of that. Oh, I was gonna say bad guys. Like when I was growing up, bad guys were always bad. I wanted to be an actor growing up, and I was like, man, I do not want to play a bad guy. I want to be liked. I want to be the hero. Turns out, as far as I'm concerned, as far as my experience goes, the bad guys are like the coolest dudes in the world. Like Loki.
Loki's
That was the first like
one
the
that came to my
prime
mind.
example.
Yeah.
He's plays this ultra villain or whatever.
Child benefits, and
he's amazing.
He does foundations and charity work, and
or even oh god,
Make Your Wish stuff.
The guy off Star Wars, Driver. I think it's Andrew Driver.
Oh yeah, the new Star Wars.
Yeah, he's super cool and donates a bunch of money and does all sorts of stuff too.
Yeah,
I forget his name.
and I bet cast Keira Knightley. What?
Breaking Star Wars cast Keira Knightley as
Carrie
Saber.
Fisher. Did they get all the Carrie Fisher scenes in?
She's dead.
Hopefully, not hopefully dead, but hopefully they got her scenes in.
No, they're just gonna write some shitty. It doesn't say.
Is she in the new?
It doesn't say. Look how she's busy.
Oh, she's not in the new.
She's not in the new Star Wars.
Not in the new Pirates.
Thank God.
I don't see it.
She's like done with it.
It would definitely be up there because the trailer's already out. She die? I wonder. I don't know if I even saw the third one.
I haven't seen.
She
the
might have
third
died.
one. There's actually a fourth one.
There's
right?
pirate
There's a
people.
fourth one.
She didn't die. What are you talking about?
At World's End, I think, is one of the last.
Okay, I didn't see that one. She's in. There's two of them at least.
Yeah, that's just what she's known for. She's cool.
Elizabeth
I like Keira Knightley.
Swan.
She has a problem reading, as far as I've heard.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, it's so interesting. It just says so much about human nature and how, and I think parents do this very badly to their children, where they go, "This is how you are. You told me you liked orange. Now your favorite color is blue. What the hell?" In fact, I heard that story just like the other day.
Somebody, I don't know if it's a quote or in a book, something along the lines of parents need to drop their preconceived notion of who their kids should be compared to who their kid actually is.
No shit.
Yeah, let them be them.
Find out who they are, right?
Well, because they are their own. They'll have influence from the parents, and that's who. In fact, I think it's they get more influence from school. Like their peers,
probably
over their parents' influence
at some point,
especially
right?
when they start school.
Mm-hmm.
Then they have more exposure to their peers and their peers' thoughts and ideas than they do their parents and their parents' ideas.
And I've heard Adam talk about this, and what he said was that is the correct way. That you're supposed to start out with your parents, get a foundation.
Sure.
And as time goes on, you slowly swap to your peers and friends, because guess what happens to your parents? They die. So then that gets cut off, and now you live the majority of your life with your peers.
Yeah.
Now, that's not to say disregard your parents
Right.
or whatever. That's definitely a part of your life, but it's just kind of a natural rhythm to where mom and dad are cool. They know all this kind of stuff, and then at some point they kind of get corny, and then you like, my friends are really cool.
Well,
and
so
then
as Chris Ryan would say, you talk to an 8-year-old, who's the coolest person in the world?
your dad.
10-year-old. The 10-year-old is.
Oh, sorry.
That's who you want to emulate.
Right.
It's like that 10-year-old. That's who you want to impress.
Yeah, right.
To a 10-year-old, who's the coolest person in the world? 12-year-old.
12-year-old, yeah, right.
It's just like there needs to be that expansion of community besides just a parent to child relationship. There needs to be those outside forces, the grandparents, the parents'
time.
friends, the friends' cousins, like just the extending network. That all needs to be there, and that influence. There was a Tim Ferriss podcast I just listened to, and it was this guy. He had a daughter, and she had this rare
Disease?
Yes, it was a rare disease. I cannot
That's
think
not
of-
the word he was looking for.
I can't. It was the actual disease I was looking for. Damn it.
Mental disease?
Really sucks.
Physical
No, it was
disease?
a physical disease. She was in a wheelchair, and her body didn't produce this certain enzyme. There's no cure for it. There's no treatment for it.
So it's like a genetic disease.
Basically, doctor was like, she's got maybe like 2 years to live. Shit. So he goes and opens his own bio company, comes up with a vaccine, or not a vaccine, but a treatment for it.
Yeah.
To where at least she can be treated. That doesn't mean she's going to live forever, but at least she can be treated to where it makes this enzyme. So she'll still be in a wheelchair. She'll still be in all this stuff. So she starts kindergarten. She's really young. She starts kindergarten. She's in a wheelchair. I don't know where she's paralyzed from, but she's in a wheelchair, so she's already like a little different from the other kids and stuff. They go on. Finally, there's like a kindergarten graduation. She graduates. Principal comes up. There was some controversy over whether she should be allowed to go to the regular school
Good
because
God.
she's so different. And the principal was like, let me call you back, let me think on it. And principal calls back, she gets accepted, whatever. Graduation comes. And it's like kindergarten graduation. They dress them up, whatever. You're going to first grade. And, it's fun for everybody. It's fun for the adults or whatever. And I guess the principal called this guy over, the guest on Tim Ferriss's podcast, called him over and like, hey, you got a second? Sure. What's up? He said, I'm telling you this for a reason. Okay. And the guy's like, okay. He said, when your daughter first entered kindergarten, I had emails and phone calls all regarding the exact same, basically the same content, which was, please put that girl in another class or take my kid out of that class because I don't want that girl to have an influence on my kid, like normal upbringing.
Right.
And so he was just like, oh shit, okay,
She's just in a wheelchair, right?
She's just in a wheelchair. Maybe she's going to Notre Dame now. So I mean, like, she's smart. She guess we'll get to that later, but so these parents were like, I don't want just a strange influence on my kid and everything else. He said, now I'm getting a lot of emails now that we're at graduation. I'm getting a lot of emails, I'm getting a lot of phone calls, and they're all the same type of criteria, and they're all from these parents, and they say, please, if at all possible, put my kid in the same class as your little girl, because there's been such an impact like on my child. And here the teachers were like, the kid would go up to her like, what's wrong with you? She'll say, I have such and such disease. And right. Okay, you want to play?
Right.
Like, they don't care.
No.
They don't care at all. They just, oh, that's your deal? Okay, well, let's play. Do you want to play over here, And, yeah, it was really good. And now, I guess now that she's at Notre Dame, they did some sort of thing, because she's in a wheelchair. So, like, I guess Notre Dame was really good about, well, we can change her class schedule to, like make it a little easier. We'll make like a little more accessible if she needs to take this ramp to get to her class or whatever. And something along the lines, they did like an open sign up because she needs help like getting out of her chair and maybe getting cleaned. There's like 25 students in her dorm that by an hour basis take turns caring for her and picking her up out of her chair and making sure she's cared for, like all just sign up and I'll take this hour and be friends. And it was like even Tim was like, wow, there's some faith in humanity restored.
Jeez,
it's like, damn, that's strong.
That's amazing.
Yeah, really good story.
Jeez. Yeah, I was gonna say, I can't top that, but that also speaks to the way that we operate our public schools, at least, and basically our private schools are just exactly like the public schools, where everyone's the same age, like first graders are all around 7 or whatever, I don't know, but they're all the same age, right? You and Trevor and Jared, you guys are relatively the same.
Right.
There's a big push to have a big intermingling class where like, middle schoolers are intermingled with the high schoolers and everything. I mean, how many things did you learn from one older brother and then older brother's friends and then like your friends' older brothers or whatever, or older siblings, or even parents of your friends? Like, I can probably learn the most.
You know what I think I learned most out of you as an older brother?
Oh boy,
is I learned what not to do. It's like I saw, which was kind of a hindrance, if you ask me, on my creativity and personality in a way, because it's like, well, that door's shut, so I can't even, like, I've seen what happens when I try to do that, so I can't do that. But there was a lot of things that's just like, okay, nope, don't do that.
Like, can you think of any? Just like things like running I got in trouble for?
Running away from home with a butcher knife when you were 4 or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just like, I just saw the repercussions of your actions sometimes, whether it be, driving fast on the 4-wheeler or something. Just, okay, don't do that, So I don't know.
Probably definitely made you more circumspect for certain things, but everything has pros and cons. Obviously, my con in that whole situation was, I became super adventurous and tried out new things, but like that's a price. Like, you got to pay a price. Like, I moved to California a couple of times, but I had to make the terrible drudgery of a trip back to where, I have to kind of hang my head a little bit.
Beat
like,
down.
Oh God. Like, it's almost like
it's
Icarus.
Experience, though.
Well, yeah, pros and cons. It's like almost like an Icarus moment to where, I flew way too. I should have listened partly, but I flew.
Should you have?
Partly, yeah. Partly, for sure. It definitely damaged some things, like forever. Like damaged relationships where
But
people...
did it?
It did. Definitely did.
But does everything happen for a reason to where you are where you're at now because you are at...
I would like
right
to,
now you are where you need to be.
Right. I would like to think so. Makes it easier to swallow the pills of the past.
Yeah, for sure.
But at the same time, you look back and you're like, okay, well, that actually cost me a lot more than what I thought it was. It wasn't just saving up money. It wasn't just, skipping college for
a year or two out of my life.
No, it was a lot more.
Right,
It shattered some things. Not shattered beyond repair, but like just there's scars, especially between relationships of people that I know, family members or whatnot, to where everything will be fine for forever, right? But there is a scar there. There is a fear that Colton has the capability of leaving far distances. Do I get involved with Colton? Like, even if it's subconsciously thought about, that is something that people go through in their thought process while they talk to me.
But is that a personality thing to where... Now, you've done it, and that's the one thing I don't have yet, is that I have not left and gone far away for an extended period of time.
Right.
So it might be to where I'm at the point where the inexperience does the talking in a way, to where you have this experience and you can say, yes, there was a scar made, to where I might be leaving and stay gone or be gone for a while.
Right.
And compared to now, which I'm pretty independent, I don't really like relying on other people. I like relying on myself because like I can trust myself and I can rely on myself.
Right.
Which is probably a big reason why I've been single for so long.
Right.
Man, I'm good. It's not like a problem that I'm single. It's like I'm just good being where I'm at. And to where I'm good with breaking ties. Like if I have to break a tie to get where I need to be, sorry, man. Sorry, chick or whatever, I'm gonna have to break this. And if I break the trust to where, oh, Casey might leave me for a while, like, well, I guess we're not really meant to be like together for this extended time or whatever. But I don't know. I'm a lot of the circumstances make you who you are, and who you are is who you're supposed to be, and who you're supposed to be is where you're supposed to be at.
Interesting.
Yeah. And that like there's no wrong answer. It's like there's an answer, and there's plan A, plan B, plan C, not putting A as priority, but as A, B, and C as all alternatives, all on the table, as you can do any of these. And when you pick one, it's not the wrong choice, it's a choice, and that's just going to put you, again, where fate, if you believe in fate, wants you to be,
Speaking on that sort of thinking, I think the Christian religion totally messed me up in that sense.
I agree.
Because they would always preach like, well, just try to find God's will. Make the best decision that you can. If it's not God's will, well, then the next decision that you make will be one step closer to that. Insinuating that there is a right answer and it's God's will. So out of 1,000 decisions, number 550 is the right answer.
Okay.
But you chose 420.
But that's okay.
Well, you say it's okay, right?
Oh,
the Christian religion says you were off. You were off. 550 was the correct decision.
Does it though? Isn't that what faith is? Like keeping faith in the Lord that you made the right decision, that He will like take care of it in a way. He or she.
Maybe I'm just speaking more of like my personal thoughts on the matter. Like, okay, well, is it God's decision that I move to California and do this? Like, is that the correct, or am I supposed to go to college or whatever?
Right.
Well, I don't think that way anymore. Obviously, I think much more along the lines of what you're saying. Like, I'm who I am, I'm where I'm meant to be.
Yes.
And
because of whether they be mistakes or
I won't even call them mistakes. I just call them experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Either one.
I just
down
think
to experience.
Yeah, I just think it's interesting
you're better
how
for it.
Religion at least did that to my thinking, to where there is a right answer. Make the right choice. Like, oh, I
remember thinking specifically in about 8th grade, because we were really into the Wednesday night church.
Yeah.
We had to go to Sunday morning, so we had to do that. But
Right.
whenever we were really into it, and I would look around, and I would see like people crying and asking for forgiveness, and please forgive me for what I've done. And
right. The hell did you do last night?
Raising their hands up like, please, just crying at the altar, like, I need your forgiveness.
Right.
And I remember thinking like, I haven't done anything wrong. I'm still a virgin. I don't like cuss. I don't manipulate people. Why should I be like asking for forgiveness. And here, you know, mom and all the other people, who, you know, the Christian influences in our life are like, he'll forgive you of all your sins. And it's like, I got like 12 sins. Like, I'm 14 or whatever. I got like 12 of them.
I'm not even sure if number 12 is a sin,
right. 12 is like iffy. It might not even be, you know, one was like when I have a cover over my face and I'm one ugly motherfucker, you know.
I totally roped you into that, dude.
Yeah, but, you know,
that's amazing.
As far as the Christians would say, that's a sin, you cursed or whatever. Like, that's a syllable you can't say, or it's
until you start
sin.
logically thinking about it and like, oh, the noises that I make out of my mouth.
Yeah.
Wait a minute, what?
To
and
communicate.
If I time travel back 500 years and say fuck, everyone's gonna be like,
see, no, it does make
strange.
sense. It's a matter of intent, right?
Sure,
such as everything. It's a matter of intent. Do you intend to offend somebody? Because I think that's isn't it like offensive language?
Yeah, right.
So if you say that, if you say cunt, you know, or whatever.
Dad used to tell me
offensive.
that Judas Priest used to be a curse word. Like Grandma Seifert, if she heard Judas Priest.
Isn't that a dude?
Judas? Well, it's a band, Judas Priest.
Yeah.
But Dad told me that Judas Priest used to be like a curse word on the same level of, I would imagine the same level of like ass or shit. Like ass or shit, low level words. Like shit's like a 4.
Today word.
Yeah.
Ass is like a 1.
I would say
1
2.
or 2.
Yeah, 1 or 2. Fuck's way up there. Cunt's way up there.
Yeah. But in England, cunt, or like Australia, cunt, that's like,
hey yo,
that's
cunt.
not even bitch. That's like
bitch is like 8.
That's like a
7.
It's almost like a dude for a girl, you know, like
this
cunt over here,
yeah,
which I guess
true.
could be a girl or a guy, you know. You can just somebody who's being unpleasant or breaking social norms. Oh, you fucking cunt!
Yeah,
you know,
like
cunt. It's not bad, and it's so funny. Like when you say it in that accent, it doesn't even sound that bad.
It sounds comical.
But whenever you say it in the American, you fucking cunt, you know, it's like, oh god,
nukes,
nukes, really strange.
Unplug my headphones.
But you hear an accent with it, and it's like, ha, that's funny.
Hey, fucker.
Yeah, I don't know. It's really strange.
Yeah, just words in general are strange. The way that they convey meaning. And I was listening to Terrence McKenna lecture on the way up to Yosemite once with Kelsey, and he was talking about how language encapsulate and captures things. So, for instance, his example was you're a little baby in a crib. You have no words in your head. You're just like observing the world and experience it purely
experience, right?
Pure experience through senses and whatnot. Fuck are you? I think that's Dylan. You're experiencing the world through pure experience, right? And then you see a hummingbird, right? You just what the fuck is that thing? It's a hummingbird. You're just experiencing it.
No, it's just this non-worded, visual stimuli.
But to follow my example, like that's what it is to us, right? But as a baby, you're what is that? Right. And then your mom comes in or your dad or whoever ruins it and goes hummingbird, and then it goes like this.
Whoever ruins it, ruins my pure experience.
Well, then the language goes quing. It encapsulates that thing. It's a hummingbird forever, right? And you can reverse this by. And I did this like one morning, drinking coffee and looking out at a squirrel, and I go,
squirrel.
That squirrel doesn't even know it's a squirrel.
Yeah.
I just call that
same with dog, right? Dog doesn't know it's a dog.
I just call that thing a dog. Whatever that thing is, to me, it's a dog. To a German guy, it's a whatever.
Now, how big is the intent of a dog?
How big is the intent? Like personally, the personal dog? Like
so
how big is Braley's intent?
Humans give it, good boy. You want to be good. Right. You want to obey us and be good. And
that's what they've been bred to do. That's their sole purpose. Fuck yeah.
To be fed?
No.
Because we feed them.
To obey. They are our loyal.
But we started feeding them. Is it all based off of food? We will feed you if you obey us.
Well, it was like
when you bite us, we shoot you in the face.
It was like a social contract. It was a social contract with animal or man and beast.
Social contract.
That's what it was. So these wolves come around and they go, "Hey, you have something we want. We have something you want." Unexplained, obviously.
Yeah.
Here's the scraps. Keep those bears away, or at least let us know when they show up.
Sure.
And then just multiply that by thousands of years, and now you have these chihuahuas that are like, please don't kill me.
Yeah, I was napping today, and I dragged Ace's bed into my room because he was like, he's got ticks and shit. I need to get him to the vet, but and he just smells terrible, so I'm not gonna let him on my brand new mattress.
Right,
you know, but he was like looking at me like, can I lay with you? I was like, fine, right.
I picture Ace not so, like sheepish.
He's pretty sheepish.
Hey,
like
yo.
when he wants his way, he gives you those droopy eyes.
Right.
Like, can I just lay on the
Right.
corner here? But so I dragged his bed in, whatever. We're like sleeping. All of a sudden, snaps up.
Right.
Like, okay, what's going on?
Right.
Ben came over,
right.
he was checking
Right.
out the house or whatever. It's
Yeah.
just like that same concept of,
Yep.
he warned me,
Mhm.
somebody's outside.
Mhm.
I didn't know somebody was outside, but somebody's outside, and,
Just the other night when we had dinner with Trevor and Dylan and everybody, we were out on the porch talking, and we were talking about, I think Ace was actually over here, and we were saying how he is an extended sense of ours. So we have a sense of sound. It's like probably, I don't know, 100 yards or so.
Pretty
maybe
good.
less.
Decent.
Sight and the darkness. At that point, we had some artificial light, so we have like maybe 50 yards of sight. Ace increases that to like monumental and adds in smell. And that was like an extension of our senses, mainly for protection. He was just like operating the area. So with him, and at the time, he had his back turned to us. And he's like surveying the field. Just like, we're back here talking bullshit.
I was going to say, it allows us to drop our worry
Right.
and allows us to relax and bullshit while we have.
So the real question is, how much influence did the dog-man relationship have on our intelligence leap? Because people in Syria are not reading textbooks about physics. They're like, do not drop a bomb, find food. Do not drop a bomb, find food. If you're able to drop that worry and focus on making tools or something, right? Like that increases evolution, right? And at least evolution in the sense of advancement. You're going to advance and get smarter because instead of be like, I wish I could make a tool, but there's like bears and mammoths around,
Right.
It's like dog's
You can
fine.
kind of relax.
I'm gonna work on this hatchet a little more.
Right.
Hatchet's sharpest it's ever been.
You got to imagine, more than a little probably,
Yeah, significantly. I would imagine somewhat significantly
Yeah.
that the man-beast relationship there, because you could apply that to other man-beast relationships, such as like big farm animals like oxen. You can't plow a field as good as an ox can. So take out oxen and horses and all that from human evolution, and the size of the fields got and the amount of crops that you got, so the amount of families that got bigger, you were safer at that point, more genetic diversity. Like you take them out, I don't know if humans are as smart, or I don't know if we're on the moon, I don't know. Every building block to where we've gotten today is extremely important, maybe.
At times, how important, this is going to sound like I'm a dumbass, but how important is intelligence to where we have elected a leader that's destroying our EPA and that is
right,
literally reversing the work. Oh, the Clean Air Work Initiative, from Obama, we're going to just trash that.
Right.
Whoa.
Right.
Like, maybe we
whoa.
Maybe we don't need the oxen and the dogs, and like maybe we just, I don't know. Reference Chris Ryan again, man. Every civilization has fallen, and we are no different. And we are the biggest, baddest civilization that has ever lived. And every civilization has taken the same path and has fallen, and we are on that path.
Maybe. No civilization has
Is that
ever
the
had.
internet? I know.
Well,
but
I wasn't going to say that, but that I'll add that, or a space program, or fucking
I don't think any of that matters.
artificial intelligence.
I think internet is the biggest and the baddest because we can recognize it. We can, dude. Trump's president. You think the internet
Might
had
be
anything to
the
do with
end.
that?
It had everything to do with that.
Exactly. It allowed people to see the reality of, you're with this guy, me too. I'm with this guy too.
Right.
You're with this guy, me too.
I'm not the only one.
Well, fuck yeah, maybe we'll
Hillary's a
vote for him.
crook.
Yeah, right.
Hillary for prison.
Or it's the propaganda, and they team up, and it's all because of the internet, and the internet allows them to do this.
Well, they talk about the echo chambers, right? Like you only maybe you subscribe to the things that you subscribe to. Like I doubt you're following Hillary Clinton on Twitter.
I'm
right?
not.
I doubt you're following. You're probably following Trump because it's fun. But,
I am following Trump. Yeah, I am.
But
following Trump.
you choose who you follow. You choose.
I didn't
bias.
follow Obama. I follow Trump because he uses. It's
Twitter.
not like a staff member using his Twitter account.
Right.
It's fucking Trump.
Yeah, right.
Are you kidding me? We're getting like straight from the horse's mouth. Is this thing? I believe.
But my point is that you subscribe to the things that you believe. If there's anything, this is me specifically, if there's anything negative about psychedelics that come up on my Facebook, I'm like, what is this MSNBC bullshit? Like, I'm out of here. I know the truth. I almost said it. I know the truth. And I think that's how everybody subscribes to it. Everyone thinks that they know the truth. Why do conservatives believe what they believe? Because they think that's the truth. And liberals is the same way. Like they are the same way. As far as socialism is going to work, Bernie Sanders is going to kill it. Maybe not. We need to have these discussions about what is truth, because it's probably somewhere in the middle, right? It's probably somewhere. It's not going to be Trump. It's not going to be Bernie, but Bernie's probably closer to the truth than Trump. But
so we think.
But
is our young brains more malleable than the elder brains?
Sure.
Who have aged some.
Absolutely.
And dude, they just get more set in their ways. And
yeah.
It's funny.
Mm-hmm.
Driving to Cherryville with Dad, if you pay attention, he does the exact same thing. He does an illegal thing every single time. Every single time. It drives me nuts because I think we're going to get in a wreck.
Oh, texting and driving?
No.
Oh.
No. When we get to that Walmart, what's that Walmart there?
Yeah, Coffeyville
Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
You'll be in the left lane.
He switches lanes right in the middle.
Right in the middle of the intersection, he switches lanes. Doesn't matter if we stop and then go. It doesn't matter if we're going and then we... Every single time I've ever ridden with him, he starts on the left lane and switches lanes in the middle of an intersection and gets to the right lane so we can take a right on that new highway. I don't know those roads, but every single time. And it's I read something somewhere that so your drive to work, if you take the same route to work every day, your chances for Alzheimer's goes up compared to if you change your route and like try new routes to work, it fights Alzheimer's.
Right.
Fascinating.
Right.
Fascinating.
Such a simple trick.
Yes.
How many routes to work can I take?
It makes sense because it's so comfortable to take that same route. And, you know, granted for like, even for Dad in Cherryville, for you and downstream, it's kind of like only one route, right?
Yeah.
You know, with me in Pittsburgh, I have a lot. Like I have one route that I prefer, but at the same time, I do think of that like, man, maybe I'd need to like, I don't want to because humans are habitual creatures.
But it definitely takes energy. Like
it takes energy.
I've done this in California.
It takes mental energy.
God, I can't listen to my podcast.
Yeah.
I gotta figure out.
You have to like remember where you're at and remember where you're going for sure.
Which is the key to keeping away Alzheimer's, is to challenge that brain, right?
Yeah. Do crossword puzzles. And
well, that's like level one, but like if you wanted to learn a new language, that's like way up there. That would definitely help. Or any sort of activity that
mental practice,
dancing, or lumosity, even like shooting the bow. Like if you just picked up something like that, or throwing hatchets, like throwing hatchets to me, I don't give a shit. I don't care if I hit the target or not. I'm just having fun.
Yeah, right.
But it's challenging me, and the more that I do it, the more that I kind of figure out, oh, if I let it go like this. So it's like there's a process to learning.
For sure.
And I think, you know, I'm thinking of like Tucker Taylor. He has such a endless supply of interests. I think that's going to keep him young forever.
I was going to say, you know what I love about him is that he pursues them. He pursues his interests.
100,000,000%.
Yeah, he doesn't like, oh man, I wish I could get into that.
You know,
he does.
You know who
he
else
gets
does
into
that?
it?
Ian Uvon. I have a guy on podcast. He does the Red Bull type stuff.
Yeah.
He wanted to open a skate shop
That's
at
right.
like 12 years old.
I
He
remember
opened
that.
a skate shop at 12 years old. He just went, Dad, I want to open a skate shop.
Yep.
And he did it.
Let's get some boards. Let's get some this. Let's get some
He inspired
inventory.
me big time, dude.
He saved money, right? Like saved money for it.
Tons of money.
Did everything.
Yeah. Bought out old skate shops that were going out of business.
That's right. Yep.
Just the podcast. It was a short, like hour and a half podcast because I freaked out and couldn't talk anymore. Honestly, that's what happened. But we had a great time. But just after that podcast, I was so inspired. Like I was looking at all the things in my life where I'm like, I've been putting that off. I've been putting that off. I've been putting that off. Just fired on all of them. Like he just inspired me to do that. And it's kind of speaks to who you keep around you is going to influence you. Like if you hang out with losers, you're going to be a loser. And the same thing is you hang out with winners. Like it does influence you.
Doubt.
It absolutely does influence you.
Doubt.
It's amazing.
For sure, man.
Well, this was supposed to be a short podcast.
Yeah,
it's almost 2.5 hours.
I know. I was like requesting a short podcast and we just can't shut up.
Well, it looks like everything's still going. I can still see the red dots on all the cameras. That's good. Yep. And we're trying this new thing out with QuickTime. It's actually recording the computer. So anything that we looked up, and if you actually watch this on YouTube, you'll be able to see exactly what we saw on the computer, like when we were talking about Drake and Josh or Star Wars or any of those Pirates of the Caribbean, anything like that. So this was a good trial podcast, 2.5 hours. It was good.
I did not expect. I expected like an hour and a half, maybe
I don't know,
hour
man.
15.
It's think of just growing up together and
I was
all
gonna
the
say,
conversations.
I think a big thing is just you and me,
It's just
and
easy.
how like we've had to. Kelsey just knows at this point, but we've
Yeah.
kind of tell her like it just happens.
Yeah.
it just goes
Mhm.
and goes and goes
It's
and
like, I
goes.
try
and
to
goes
keep
and goes
up.
and goes
It's
and
like,
goes and goes and
just
goes and
hang
goes and goes and goes. It
Right.
just doesn't.
No.
It doesn't stop.
No.
And especially now that we don't live
Right.
together anymore.
It's a lot to catch up on.
Dude, there's so much to catch up
Well,
on.
and we have a lot of projects together. We got bees, gardening,
Gardening,
podcasts,
chicken podcast,
multimedia type stuff.
computer
We're
builds.
trying to do the animation stuff. There's
Dude,
just a lot of things we're
there's so
involved
much.
in. So, oh shit!
It is strange. It's almost like there's not enough time.
There
Like we
definitely
gotta
is not enough
pause time,
Mm-hmm.
discuss everything, and then resume time. Okay,
Yeah.
now that we are on the same page,
Right.
here,
Right, right.
we can move on with
Exactly.
our. It's crazy. It is. I don't know if that's all brothers. I don't know.
Maybe,
But,
surely not. A lot of brothers fight.
I think a big one was our cabin fever that we were
Yeah,
succumb to
definitely.
every week.
Yep,
I remember
every weekend,
oh man, all the time. Tom Segura,
every summer.
Tom Segura was talking about how long they go without showers.
Oh yeah, him and his wife.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
on the podcast, and it was like, oh, I've gone probably like 3 days without it. It's like I've gone like a week,
Oh yeah,
like a straight week.
man. Well, I mean, like you said, cabin fever. I remember in California, I wouldn't have a job, and when Kelsey moved out to come back home, why take a shower?
Why?
Just waste time.
Yeah,
I'm not talking to anybody.
no,
I'm not going anywhere.
I haven't sweat crazy.
Nope.
I haven't been out in the hot sun.
Mm-mm.
Why do I need a shower?
This is what we're ending on. Is how long we've taken a shower.
I'm drunk at this point.
That's okay. okay.
I drank the rest of your Maker's Mark.
You son of a bitch.
There's
No,
a
I don't
little
care.
bit- I saved
No,
a
I was
little
hoping
bit.
someone would.
Oh,
I overpaid for this. I went to Pit Liquor and I was like, I'm gonna go look at their scotch and their
it's
whiskey.
not great.
No.
It's not
Well, I
great.
walked in and the guy was like, just eyeing the shit out of me. I'm like, I just
Was
wanna
he
look-
there alone?
He had his son with him.
If there's more than one person working, I find it's a better experience. They're more relaxed.
He just eyed the shit out of me.
but
And
with,
I'm like,
with less people working, it is a
Mhm.
little more of a what, dude? I'm just buying some alcohol, man.
I felt like I couldn't leave. Like I couldn't leave empty
Without-
handed.
yeah,
So I was
yeah.
like, I've already asked you all these questions about the whiskey.
Is there ever
I'm
a
disappointed
social
with your whiskey?
Yeah. Is there ever a social prerogative to, hey, buddy, I'm not leaving with anything. I just didn't find anything I wanted. You like kind of pat your pockets down, like I'm just so you know, like if he has been eyeing you,
Right.
is there ever a social prerogative?
Definitely would not say that. To me, that's weird.
But
I
what-
would say it more smooth.
Well, okay. Well, I just blurted out the first thing.
Sure.
But as far as like, hey, man, I just didn't see anything.
Right.
I just don't want you to think I'm like trying to get away with anything.
I think that's okay.
I don't know, or would you just say, thanks, man, I just didn't find
I
anything
would rather
needed."
just say thanks, man.
Yeah.
Not seeing what I'm looking for. So
Right.
just as I'm walking.
Yeah,
out,
that would
like-
be better.
Right.
Not seeing what I'm looking for.
Right.
Like you were looking for something in
Right,
particular and didn't
right.
find it.
Or just have almost like a mini conversation. Like,
Do you have blah blah blah?
exactly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You don't have Giant Walker Red? Well, that's
Yeah.
kind of what I was after. So
Okay,
well,
I appreciate it, man.
Peace out.
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
I didn't see what I'm looking for. Nothing to see here.
Here's my pockets.
that is sending out signals to me like, lock the doors. Let me check.
Yeah.
Let me check you.
At the same time, man, there was times that when I worked at Walmart,
Mhm.
an item wouldn't scan. Like I'm running it by, can't scan.
Fuck.
I was tossing it in the bag.
Right. You would?
Oh yeah, dude, I gave away a lot of free
Really?
shit. Oh, dude.
Oh.
I did not give a shit about that job. I hated Walmart. I hated the people who shop there. I hated everything. I was very cynical about the job.
Oh, yeah.
But like I see people now like, oh, it's not scannable. Type in the 25-digit barcode. Make sure we charge it to you. Blah 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 blah
Right.
blah. Okay, now that's like.
Can I get someone to go to aisle 7 to pick
Dude.
me up something with a barcode?
I wouldn't give away like a PlayStation for
Sure,
free or something.
right.
But if it was like
Dish
you know,
rags or something?
yeah, dish rag, some napkins, some fucking toilet paper or something. You know, some small roll.
I tried
or-
to buy fucking condoms once, and I just like okay, I'll get a couple things, condoms. Condom box didn't have a damn barcode. So that thing happened to me. A line gets started. I can see the girl's embarrassed. I'm embarrassed. I'm like, fuck this. I don't even want them. But I can't say that because I don't want to admit that I'm embarrassed. I should have done that. But yeah, just a nightmare. Just toss them in the bag.
Dude, I did that. Dude, seriously,
Let's
lot.
get past this.
If it didn't scan real quick, sometimes they saw, sometimes they didn't. I didn't care. I wasn't like trying to be a hero to them. I was just like, man, it's not worth my time to call somebody over. The CSMs, customer service managers, take 10 years to get to you. Right. I don't want to sit here and bullshit with the customer who's...
So how's your day been going?
Yeah, and if I'm in their shoes, dude, I just want to get in and get out. I'm not here to talk to you. I'm here to the Amazon, what's that store called? Amazon.com? Checkout? No, where you walk in, walk out.
Right. No, sort of. Yeah, it's like
Amazon Express.
Yeah.
Is that it?
Something.
You just walk in,
There's
have
no
your identity.
cashiers.
Yeah, no cashier. There's like it's like an x-ray machine that you walk through.
Right. Everything has like a digital code on it.
Your card is on their file.
Right.
It charges your
just
card.
whatever's in your bag.
Yes, exactly. Whatever's in there, you just take it and you go. Whoa!
Right.
Where has that been? Let's do that.
Right. It's not Express.
Man.
It's
it's something like that. Amazon.
Oh,
No, it's not a store card. Go. Amazon Go.
Okay. Get out of here.
Where is Amazon Go? Yeah. Amazon
Seattle,
Go.
isn't it? Yeah, Amazon Go. So there's no sort of transactions. There's you just
unbelievable.
put things in your bag and go. You just see,
amazing.
You did a good job, Amazon.
It's amazing.
That's how it should be. I mean, we're one step closer with self-checkout, but like I was at self-checkout probably 2 days ago at Walmart.
One step closer.
No, the old people can't handle it. They're like, they don't understand. At least the old people in Pittsburgh. Sorry, everyone, my internet's bullshit. But no one can figure it out.
But you can, right?
I can.
Okay.
I worked there, so I know.
Well, okay. It's simple. If and then. If then.
Right.
If this happens, then you do this.
Right.
It's totally explanatory.
Right.
I've had time after time after time after time. If like I have more than like a 3-second delay of like maybe I'm reading something on the screen and I'm like key in the code.
Right.
I understand what the code is. Yep. I understand there's like a key in item to where if you're getting cucumber, you type in the first 3 letters CUC. It comes up organic cucumbers, regular cucumbers, blah blah blah. Strawberries, STR.
It's not organic.
Well, so then an employee will come up and are you needing like no. It's totally self-explanatory.
I came over here to be alone anyway.
Exactly. I came over here to avoid the human contact that you're giving me now. Right. And I don't know. There's been times where it's like, yeah, I need them, but and nothing against Walmart employees. I've been there. It's
God bless you.
Yeah, you got to do it. Somebody's got to do it. Whatever. Right. I don't know. Whatever. And it's just funny that they're like, I know this advanced system, only Walmart employees get it. I know. You got to be like trained by Walmart.
I had to go through a 3-week training course to be able to do this.
The computer programs that the hazardous waste material here at the Walmart stores is based off of.
Dude, speaking of Walmart,
come on, man.
I don't know how often you're in Walmart. I'm there too much.
Yeah.
Have you seen the fucking cameras that are in Walmart that just automatically start recording you? There's cameras in every aisle. There's cameras and there's like TV screens.
Yeah, TV screens.
And they just go boom. Now recording in process.
And they have like your LED lights.
Yes, it flashes.
You,
yes,
like really showing.
Well, not only even in the store aisles, which I think is crazy as shit, but they have it at the checkout system, at the self checkout. There's just a camera right there. Like I hate it. I put my thumb over it. I mean, it's insane.
That razor that you just. Thank you for shaving my neck. You shaved my neck with. Adam Spadafora.
Yeah.
He watched the Facebook Live. Hopefully he listens to this.
Yeah.
I work with him at Eagle Picture.
Oh, his woman's the good woman.
Yes. The good woman. Yes.
You're the good woman.
Yes. She is the good woman.
Shout out to the good woman.
I went to Kansas City Chiefs game, the last Steelers, I believe.
Yeah.
And all that. I went all that with him and really good guy. Really fun working with him. And shoot, where was I going with that?
Cameras in Walmart, facial recognition.
Oh, okay. He's the one who recommended me this certain razor because I was like, man,
razors.
I used to use yours, the one that plugs in. Really, never pulls, dude. Never pulls neck hair. It's amazing. I love that razor.
Yeah.
So I was like needing one, and he's like, man, I got this one, and it's. Going into barber shops and stuff, they'll have the wireless, and I think that's so cool. Like it's just so portable and everything. So I was like, okay, let's try wireless. I couldn't find it. I could not find this one that he was talking about. Couldn't find it. Couldn't find it. And it was in an aisle with the TV and stuff.
Oh god!
And I remember finding ones like it, and I would like hold it up to the camera and like throw my arms up like, what? Where's the? And I had it on my phone. I had like on the Walmart app. I had like, this is the one I want. This is the one you're giving me, and I would like show it to the camera. Like, what is this? I came for a certain product. Put it down. I don't know, and just leave. You know, like make a big deal of it. Like, I don't know if anybody ever watches that or whatever, but I just kind of hope to give somebody a show. Like, well, this is your fault. Right. I don't get my product.
That's
and
fucking great.
I ended up going back and getting whichever one, but. Yeah,
I do something similar. You can tell that we're brothers. Like, remember the cash machines at Downstream? You have to
ticket?
You know, you put your cash in there. It's like,
oh, okay, yeah.
Your cash tips, whatever. So when I go in there, I know what that camera is looking at. It's looking in like what direction, and so I always like make a face, and I'm like, oh, I gotta piss. You know, like I try to mouth it, so they have to be like, what did he say?
Yeah, like see pain on your face.
Or I say like, tonight fucking sucked.
Yeah,
you know, I just try to mouth things to see if they would do it, like see if they would even notice.
I always do dumb stuff like that too. I get like in the break room, like finish a gulp of chocolate milk and like, hey, to the camera and toss it, like just a quick 2-3 second thing. But if somebody is watching or is to watch this, they'll hopefully crack up or something, you know, something stupid.
Oh, I would love to see that kind of shit. Like,
there's a lot of stuff that's got to be gold on there, man.
Oh,
some of the hallway stuff, like,
oh my god, yes,
man. There's been times, I don't know, you might like turn around because you don't want to talk to a certain TROY that is now that's now gone, by the way.
Who? Oh, what? Whoa, what?
He's gone.
No.
FIRED.
What?
Jeff. I don't know if you ever met Jeff.
Dude, this
over.
makes total sense.
I want to go back, man.
Jeff's amazing.
Jeff is amazing.
This makes total sense because the other day, I don't want to talk Downstream too much on this podcast.
Sure,
freaks me out.
Sure,
but the other day, I was walking down the hallway to clock out, and so I saw Jeff. He had a bigger jacket on.
A suit.
He didn't have a suit that night.
When we went to the out to you, the grandparents, he was out there in like a suit, and normally he wore like the kind of like the jumpsuit that ballet
That's
wears.
what I saw him in.
Exactly. And now he's wearing a suit. I didn't even think about it. Later, you know who told me about it. I was just like, what?
But I was walking down the hallways. I see him. I usually try to say hi. One time I blew him off in the cage. I just didn't know who he was.
Jeff.
Yeah, Jeff came. He's like, hey man. I go, hey. Do my thing, and then like afterwards, I was like, oh shit, that's like. Casey's told me all about this guy. He's like such a nice guy. I kind of just blew him off. Fuck. But anyway, he's in the hallway, and I'm walking by, and I hear like one of the chef ladies go, "Well, congratulations, Jeff." You know, like congratulations. And what I thought, my first thing is, "Oh, he got Employee of the Month." I've heard that a ton of times. Congratulations, Mario. He got Employee of the Month. You know. So I thought, oh, he got
Mario. He deserves it, man. He's so awesome.
He got it like twice.
He's
like,
so awesome.
I think he almost got it 2 months in a row.
He's so awesome, man. How could he not? He's so such a good
fucking
guy.
Awesome.
Anyway, yeah.
But that makes a lot of sense that you say that he.
Oh man, I just
took him long enough.
Dude, it seriously makes me want to go back. Like if the pay wasn't such shit, that it was a fun job. It was a good job, and Jeff ran it. He ran it like almost Jocko would. Discipline to where he drilled it in your head so many times, man. Like it was a long time before. First off, before you even drove a car to the lot, you took it from because taking it from the front, the guest is already inside most of the time. Because there's somebody on the front end that'll say, hey, what's your name, blah, 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 and get the guest inside to where their car is fine.
Do whatever you want.
Yeah. And your car's here. It didn't drive off yet, but it's still here.
Right.
And then a valet will come up. There's an empty car. There's keys inside. You get in. You drive off. As long as there's a ticket and everything, which, always did. And, but he would wait so long for you to drive it to the lot. You had to wait weeks, like weeks upon weeks to understand the entire process before... All right, our guest is ready to leave. Now you drive the car back to the guest where you have direct, you're standing outside the car door and the guest is walking towards you and they give you the ticket. You look at the ticket real quick, make sure everything matches, the numbers match. As long as you have the numbers match, I'm good. I'm not in trouble. If this is not your car, you found a ticket on the ground and you're stealing this car, tickets match, man.
Yeah.
I did nothing wrong.
Not my problem.
Yeah. Until the tickets don't match is whenever I can't let you take this car. Until I call my supervisor. And that's what Jeff is so good about is, dude, he didn't care. the procedure was the procedure, and
he stuck to it.
Yeah, if this wasn't your card, we're not letting you take it. You know, this is not your card to take, and I don't care how mad you get until you give us the right, you know, card, proof of ownership, whatever.
Right,
you're not leaving, man.
That sounds like a good leader. Just sounds like he's doing what a good leader's supposed to do.
Yeah, sticking to the book. And the one thing that was really glorious about Jeff overall, and like you said, not to talk about them too much, but the best thing about him was that if you did everything right, he had your back. He had your back. And there's been times where you do traffic to where it's a concert night, and we just can't get these cars filtered out fast enough to where new cars can come in. So somebody gets to go out on traffic and say, nope, you stay right there. I stand in front of you and just stand here. And as soon as the radio comes over and says, all right, send 2 up, you send 2 up, you move the cone out of the way, 2 cars pass, you move the cone back in the way, you stay, and you know, you're not coming. And one time I had a guy like cuss me out, and it's not unusual, but you just kind of hope you're not the guy. I was the guy one time, and it was, you fucking kidding me? You know, I have a hotel reservation, and like, no shit, everybody in this line has a hotel reservation. You know, it's like, where are you gonna, like, you can't park. There's nowhere for you to park right now. You have to wait in line. I'm sorry. It got to a point where I just stopped saying anything back, because I said everything I had to say, and I had to write a report on it and everything. And
what else are you gonna say? Anything you're gonna say is gonna get you in trouble at that point.
I've told you all the information I have, as far as I'll get you up as you're the next person in line as soon as I get the go ahead. And they always think that, like, I'm one person, just let this one car go up. It's like, there's just no room. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry. And the deeper you go back, the more risk of, because all the keys are in the car, the more risk of somebody just kind of gets in and backs it up and drives it out of there or something. You know? And anyway, I got cussed out and stuff. And then Jeff comes over the line and he's like, Casey, was there a guest just yelling at you? And I was like, yes, sir. There was. All right, well, come talk to me about that later. And you know, it was just cool knowing that I didn't do anything wrong. I kept my composure. I didn't yell back. I didn't, you know, and you probably know it's hard to make me mad. It's funny.
Definitely.
You know too much psychology when you can break down everybody's reasons for doing everything. So I knew it was
I had a bad childhood.
It was an insecurity that this guy had. Whatever. He had a bad day. He's taking it out on me. It's fine. It's no big deal. You know,
I'm bigger than that.
I'll soak it in. It's fine. It's you know, it's cool.
Right.
It's not a big deal. I didn't hold it against the guy. Whatever.
Sure.
And I guess he went in and gave the hotel staff a hard time and just an asshole. Right. And I think
bad vibes everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere he went, he just thought he was just the biggest shit. And I think even the casino wasn't having it. I don't remember what happened, but I think it was along the lines of like, dude, you can't treat our employees like that, which is another good thing about, I would say, the casino atmosphere, at least there, is that the same concept in a way of, if you don't do anything wrong, it's fine. You did everything right and you're not in trouble. And we got your back over this disgruntled guest that is absolutely making an ass of himself.
Right.
And other guests are looking at him and like, you know, like it's a bad experience for the other guests because they got to now deal with this. And oh man, Jeff was a really awesome. Good guy. Really enjoyed him. And I'm super happy that he's now ahead of it, and man, he should be. There was times, dude, wow, man, now that I'm comparing it to, because I've heard a lot of Jocko's rhetoric and stuff, and man, Jeff did a lot of it as far as just, guys, I don't agree with what the top guy's saying, but he's the top guy, and we're gonna do it. And
like the pockets being sewn up.
I don't know. I don't know about all that. I think T-Man could have definitely had something to do with preventing that.
That was an embarrassment for the whole casino.
Absolutely, dude. Man.
Even people that hear about that, they're like, what?
Yeah.
Visitors, like, what?
They left a 1/2-inch hole to where you could put a pin inside your pocket, and that's it. Nothing else, man. And I agree, like, no, you shouldn't be on your phone for sure during your shift and everything, but I think there's better ways, even if it's harsher penalties. As soon as you're caught on your phone, as soon as somebody looks back in the van and sees the light up on your face, maybe it's a harsh penalty then. I don't know. But
big time.
Come on, sewing up pockets.
Or
holy shit.
Yeah, totally. Jocko also said this, there are no bad teams, only bad leaders. And I think
Jocko didn't say that. That has been passed on.
Well, that's where I heard it from.
Many previous generals, but they say it differently. Napoleon said it.
Oh, okay.
It's like the same way.
Oh, okay.
But it's it's like there's no bad platoons, only bad generals.
Right.
Jocko's is there's no bad teams, only bad leaders.
Right.
It's like the same thing but different.
Same concept, different ways of saying it. Yeah, and then I mean, like I said, I don't want to talk too much shit on downstream, but if I could sum it up, that would be, what were we talking about?
They did Jocko did a Buds training class, and there was one team just outperforming everybody every single time, and each team had a leader to it, and whatever 6 teams or whatever, and
4. Wasn't it 4?
I don't know. It was
4.
Something 4 or 6. I don't know. Something like that. But yeah, multiple teams. One team always finished first. One team always finished last, and the rest were kind of variable. But it was like consistently one team always finished first, one team always finished last. The last place leader, man, my guys, they won't pick up the slack, and I'm trying to get them to go, and they won't, blah blah blah. Finally, somebody has the idea. Okay, we're gonna swap the leader from the first team to the 4th team or 6th team or whatever, the last place team.
Right.
So they swap leaders. So the first place leader is like, oh shit, well, okay, whatever, and taking the end. The last place leader is like, finally, I got some troops, I got some guys that can pull their weight. Finally. The last team placed first every single time after that because the leader pulled them up, and it wasn't about the physical ability of the men. It wasn't about their strength. It wasn't about their speed, stamina. It was about the leadership.
Right.
The leadership is what. It was a direct correlation to. Now, I think the first place team would like finish second, and then they finish third, and they like work their way back.
Right.
And the 4th place team straight first because the leadership. It's like, how powerful is that, man?
I mean, the example is amazing.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Such a simple,
strong
swap.
correlation. Yeah.
It's like,
they swapped one person.
Watch this.
Swapped one person, and the 4th place leader was just complaining the whole time, and this isn't fair. I didn't get the guys that are first place material.
Dude, that same concept can be applied to like your personal mental outlook. Like if you are that bad leader, like, oh, why is this happening to me? I gotta wake up at what time, you know? Or if you take on the role of the good leader, like, because you are what?
Extreme ownership.
You are the leader of your existence, right? As far as we can tell, like, no one else is really pulling the strings.
I don't know who else it'd be.
You make the decisions and you choose what to do. So, like, what leader are you going to be as far as the leader of your life? Like, what direction are you going to take your body, your mind, your spirit, all these sort of things? What direction are you going to go? And the same concept of only bad leader or no bad teams, only bad leaders. Like there's
you can't lead yourself. How do you expect to lead others?
Shit. Right. No shit.
And I think that's I honestly, man, I mean, I try not to idolize him, but at the same time,
why not?
People need to listen to this guy because you hear it and I explain it. It's like, oh, he talks about war and he goes through books about Vietnam and other wars in the past or whatever. But it is amazing how many correlations can be made from the military strategic complex, maybe you could say, like how they run things and what makes a successful platoon into civilian life. And that's Echelon Front is Jocko and Leif's company, and it's basically a consulting firm. And so they'll go into these companies that are having trouble or why can't we do this? Why can't we do this? And they'll just break it down. And some of it's coming from an outside perspective to where if you're looking directly at the problem and you're just staring at it, sometimes, and that's one of his things, is take a step back, disengage and look at it from a different point of view. And now you'll be able to see it. And maybe that's a good argument for psychoactive drugs, is it's probably a disengagement of I'm just stumped on this problem. I keep looking at it and looking at it and looking at it and I can't figure it out. And then you take a chemical and it pulls you, like, I don't know, it's weird. It pulls you outside of your body and you can, there's more steps to this than I thought. This is more complicated than I thought. And it might, it's not a cure-all, but it might give you a different perspective and a different approach to an issue, a problem,
Right.
a factor of your life
Right.
that maybe needs work, or I don't know.
It's very similar to the hummingbird example that I had earlier. Like if you take a little bit of acid or a lot, it will change that hummingbird into something else, right?
Something more.
The hummingbird being metaphorical to your problem. So this is your problem,
Oh,
and
I
you're
see.
thinking like,
Okay.
this is the way that this problem probably should be solved. Well, then you take that substance, and then it's like, I've never thought about it like this.
Right.
The explanation is over here. Oh, I never would have thought about turning it this way and then adding this and, subtracting that. I never would have thought about that.
This right here,
Yeah, seriously.
super every day, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Every single day.
Or
much less.
I use this quite a bit.
If you use it for that, every single day, and if you are thinking about doing chemicals that affect the neural function of your mind,
the perception of reality.
write it down.
That is, if you were going to
Write
have
it
like
down.
a psychedelic survival pack, that'd be like my number one.
Absolutely.
Pen paper.
Absolutely. Pen
Something,
paper.
a paper that you can write legibly on,
Yes.
because some of them are hard to write on.
Sure.
Because you're
Right.
literally going to be trying to write thoughts while you're flying an F-16 jet without the top on.
And now that
if you
would
take
be
enough.
the argument maybe for this is, and that's one thing, my 721 West Kansas experience, my Pittsburgh house.
Uh-huh.
I wish I could have been able to spout it and just keep spouting and spouting and talking it out rather than, because I think I told you, it was like epiphany.
Right.
Epiphany.
Right.
Epiphany. Like
Yeah.
powerful. Like, oh my God, I never thought of that. I never thought of it that way before. Boom, another one.
Right.
Like,
You were telling me that these epiphanies were like built on one another.
Yes.
You never would have got to the fifth one
Yes.
without the first
Exactly.
four. Like boom, boom, boom.
and they were powerful enough to physically, like, I was standing up, maybe like hand against the wall.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like a gunshot, like,
Yeah.
boom.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
then,
yeah.
I was like,
Yeah.
like my physical body was
Yeah.
being affected by
Yeah.
this. Man, who knows if I'll ever get them again, things like that. But it's a lesson learned to where
They'll be ready.
if you're going deep, maybe have a voice recorder. Because I remember in the garage once, it was like an endless queue. QUEUE or whatever.
QEUE, I think.
Whatever it is. The
QUE.
endless
like
queue.
Netflix queue.
Yeah.
QUE.
Endless queue of ideas that needed to get out, and like you said, they were built on another to where as soon as I finish this one, then I can start on this one. And as soon as I finish this one, I can start on this one. And I don't know. It's important. I don't know. I like to live with no regrets, and whatever I do, so be it. And that's where I'm at now, and that's where I'll start this morning from. Like tomorrow morning, I'll start from
Fresh.
where I'm at.
Right.
And the next day,
Right.
where I'm at now, that's where I'll start, and that's where I'll try to keep moving or whatever. I don't know.
Man.
Yeah,
I like that sort of motivation, that sort of outlook on life.
a lot of it's Jocko. I can't lie, man. He's it's like, stop complaining. Do what you got to do.
Dude, I think it's interesting, especially with the podcasts, but you can apply it to anything, YouTube, movies, whatever. But podcasts specifically, you gravitate to the ones that you need. Like you kind of need Jocko. Like where you are in your life, where you're growing, the stages you are. Jocko is perfect for that. He's helping you become a man. He's like, no, you don't need this. You need this.
One of the things,
if you come into this sort of situation, take it on like this.
I think it's an old saying, but when the student is ready, the teacher will appear.
Yeah. What? Yeah.
And I think, especially with Jocko, that's a big one, because he even did Rogan's podcast quite a bit ago.
Yeah.
And Tim even before that, and then I think Sam was after that. But those were a long time ago, and I remember you listened to them, and you were like, "Oh yeah, that's a good one." I think I had it queued up for a while. Like,
Right.
I need to listen to it, but whatever. And it was like, by the time I got around to it, that was the time that I needed to hear it. Really, really cool. I really like that saying of just,
when the student is ready.
when you're not ready, you're not gonna get anything. And
I feel like I read this in a book or an article the other day. It was actually the exact saying actually might be Homo Deus.
Yeah.
They were talking about how certain things came along only when they were ready to come along, like
Sure.
certain technological advancements.
Sure.
Like send a computer back in time, like it's not going to do
What are they
anything.
going to do? Yeah,
they're just going to toss it over the
Yeah,
ocean.
exactly.
Pirates, like, it's
Fucking
heavy.
Burn it or something.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not ready for it.
Yeah.
That's interesting to think about, like what's coming in the future. Like what are we not ready for? Maybe just a side thought. Like maybe we're not ready for social democracy. For maybe America's not ready
Right.
for healthcare,
Right.
universal healthcare. You'd like to think we were.
We aren't there yet. Or
Maybe we
something.
aren't. You know, it's sad to think that. I wish we were ready. Maybe that's not the point though. But yeah. So we're about to hit that 3-hour mark.
That's insane, dude. What the fuck?
Hey, the cameras are still going, so I'm happy about that.
All
'Cause
right.
I
Well,
wasn't-
I mean, as far as the test goes, not
So
bad.
far,
as
so
as,
good.
like, kind of maxing it out in a way.
Yeah.
But
Right.
yeah, cool.
So far, so good. We'll see what happens when I put it in the editing booth. It should be fun.
Appreciate you having me on, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's good.
Always
Try out
enjoy
these
talking.
cameras and
Mhm.
yeah, dude, for sure.
Mhm. I know that societally or whatever, like the younger brother is supposed to look up to the older brother, but I think we have a cool like yin
I
yang
think
thing
so,
going
too.
on. Like,
It's a mutual thing.
yeah. Like I look up to you in a lot of ways. Like I like what you do, or like what that just saying you had. Like I'll start where I am. Like that's amazing
Mhm.
because I don't get as much from Jocko as you, but
Yeah.
like Jordan Peterson like just blows
Yeah.
me out of the water. I don't know if he does that to you, but to me, it's like just
Well,
scrambling.
I
my
would say that's what
brainwaves.
Jocko does.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Right.
It's like a similar effect of just
Right.
mind blown is such a cliche and everything, but that's truly
Blew
like
my socks off.
unbelievable. Like,
yeah.
you can't be serious, but you know, I
And
don't know.
that
Yeah.
was my point with the podcast. Like you find the ones that you're supposed to
Yeah.
find. Like you listen to the ones that, hey, check this out. This one's going to affect you personally. Like here's a missing piece of who you are.
And you'll find them, you know. It's like it's just like content, you know. You can watch The Big Bang Theory and
right.
that's a funny joke,
Right.
like
Right.
that that stereo audience really
Yeah.
makes me laugh hard when
Right,
they laugh in the
right,
background.
right.
Or you can find like authentic, real,
Yeah.
real information that you really want to hear. Chris Ryan, man, psychologist.
Yep.
I love the way he thinks. I
Mhm.
love, you know, and I think there's something out there for everybody, and
Yeah.
a lot of it's you just gotta find it and
Dedicate your time to it, you know? Like
Yeah.
Vampire Diaries. Yeah, it's awesome.
don't wash dishes in silent. You know,
yeah,
don't,
right.
don't-
Maybe. If you can catch your thoughts if you need to, but
I
like
think a lot of people have the empty thoughts though, to where it's like, maybe you're even thinking of like the everyday thing, like
Yeah.
you're taking out trash and
Right.
dog needs fed,
Right,
and-
right, right.
Or can you think?
Why don't you spend it with a super smart psychologist
Exactly.
that has a ton of
Exactly.
experience and crazy cool observations?
And it's
of
what are you
life.
into? Kelsey's into art and design.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I haven't delved into them, but
Endless.
oh yeah.
And then there's people right now recording more art and design
Yeah.
podcasts.
Sure.
They're doing more tutorials. Like it's just never going to stop.
Art and design, culinary. There's culinary, hunting, anything. I
I
mean,
will say I could not find a podcast on falconry for
Interesting.
for Tucker. Yeah, we found one.
you know what that means?
Podcast about
Tucker.
falconry.
Tucker.
Actually, falconry, I would say, is more poised for a YouTube channel because there's
Yeah.
so much visual. Like tie the bird
Did
up
you
like
see
this, or
Preston Combs' Facebook video?
Mm-mm.
He did a slow mo
Mm-hmm.
of it was like his point of view
Mm-hmm.
in his hand out, and the bird came to his hand.
That's cool.
So cool,
I need to
dude.
see
Like you
that.
could see it like
It's on his
swooping in.
Facebook?
Yeah, it's on his Facebook. Super cool. Like simple video
Yeah.
to where you've seen Tucker do it a million times live and in person. It's really cool. But all of a sudden you see it like slowed down and
Right.
this big bird just
Do with like a. Oh shit! That's awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome. That looks so cool. Preston.
Like not bad.
How many? 11.
That's 11 likes, but there's some comments and shit during it. Preston Combs, love you, brother. It's been a long time.
Shout out.
Yeah, Falconer, awesome. We're checking out your video. I don't know what this is. It was a little while ago, but let's see how much he posts.
Wait, Cody. Oh, it's his brother, Cody Blake Combs. I was like, ooh, that's a nice. What is that?
He's selling it, man.
What?
Who wants a Land Cruiser?
Is that a Land Cruiser? Oh, it looks
Black
awesome.
interior, 25,
I'll never buy it.
27K.
I'll only buy a
Jeez.
Tesla.
Oh, dude. Did you see that
Yeah,
video?
I've seen that one before.
Oh, my God.
That's a famous video.
Boom!
I forget what his name is.
It's unbelievable. Anyway, yeah.
What's his
Yeah,
name?
really cool. I know we had one.
Ooh,
Tucker,
damn.
where's your Falcon video? It's so badass, man.
Preston. Oh,
Preston.
What am I doing? I'm just
Oh,
scrolling.
Tucker.
I just go to his videos.
Oh, okay.
Why didn't I just do that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Whoa. That's it. That's it right there. That's it. Wham.
Oh, jeez. That's not the slow-mo
I
version.
don't know. Maybe he didn't have a slow-mo. Maybe it was just fast-mo, but it's so cool. Like, it just glides in. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, so cool.
Man, I apologize, ladies and gentlemen, for my really slow.
Casey
Oh, here we
Seifert
go.
likes it.
That's cool.
Maybe it wasn't in slow-mo, but that's really cool. It's his
You were just
display
so
picture.
stoned.
That's his display picture. See, he's got food in his hand.
That's cool.
So
That is an
cool.
Oklahoma forest right there.
One thing I really like.
Oaks
yeah,
everywhere. It looks beautiful.
Preston, one thing I love about him, like Tucker,
Mm.
authentic. Just
Yeah.
himself.
Yep.
And it's beautiful.
100%.
And it's awesome.
It's so rare these days that when you
Yes.
find someone like that, it's like, oh,
Yeah.
who you almost like. I know a really good guy named Alan. I forget how to say his last name, Tuwong.
Turing.
Sorry, but we took personality psych together, and man, he looked out for me big time. Like, I was low on money at the time, so I didn't have food. He'd bring me like snacks, like, hey man, here's like a granola bar. Like, we became really good friends, and same way, like he was so authentic to me, like so kind. Sorry, Alan. At first, I thought he was a little gay. I was like, "Are you like trying to hit on me?"
Right.
Like I just didn't know how to
He's
take
just
it.
such a nice guy.
He was such a nice guy and is such a nice guy, like
Yeah.
amazing guy. And lately, he got into culinary. So on the same level of like Tucker and Preston, like they just go 100% like falconry. It becomes their whole life. Same thing with Alan. Like he became culinary. I've never had. He did bourbon glazed Rice Krispie treats. I've never tasted something so
Right.
amazing. And he knows everything about bourbon and everything about wine and pairings. And he's just gone balls deep. And I don't know if that's an aspect of being real and being full of integrity that you can do those sorts of things because nothing's holding you back. Probably so. But I just see a lot of similarities between all three of those guys, you know. And like another guy, one of the realest of the real, Ben DeBusk.
Man.
I mean, just pure.
Ben DeBusk,
pure-
man. Pure.
you know?
There's no dilution. There's no filter.
No, there's nothing I'm like,
Beautiful,
what
man.
is that?
Yeah.
Nothing. Just
Yeah.
like that's Ben.
And
100%.
again, like my fourth time referencing Dylan, I was telling him
Yeah.
today, like,
Was that Dylan earlier?
I don't know. I don't know
He
who's
flipped
out
me off.
there.
Someone hit the door and flipped me off.
I don't
I'm
know.
pretty sure it was Dylan.
Probably. There's no anxiety
Mm-mm.
when Ben pulls up. It's not a big deal. I throw on a
Nope.
shirt or whatever and like, hey, what's up, dude? Like,
Yep.
I got chickens in the house, no big deal.
Yeah.
Whatever
right.
is happening
I
in
was
the
like,
house.
Chickens in the house.
Whatever's happening in the house whenever Dylan and Hunter lived in Baxter. Oh shit, the landlord's here.
Oh,
you know, like
right.
clean up or
Right.
whatever the case might be, to where it's like, I think it's a big part of it is just trust, man. I just
Right.
come on, I got nothing to hide from you, man.
Right.
You're cool just with me as a person.
Mm-hmm.
And you're so genuine and you're so yourself. I'm cool with you as a person.
Mm-hmm.
There's a mutual trust here. You know I'm not fucking your house up or
Yeah,
over
right.
whatever. You know,
Right,
it's like
right.
it really is a beautiful thing just to have such an authentic and a person who doesn't try. You're not trying to be something. You're not trying to be. You're just being.
Right. There's no suspicions either. Like,
Yeah.
maybe like you missed a developmental period and you have like a bad temper or
Yeah.
something. There's nothing like that.
Yeah.
There's no underdeveloped. There's no like big egos.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're not like, Ben, why are you doing this? Oh, you want to be alpha male?
Yeah,
Like, this
right.
is annoying, you know, whatever.
He laughs it off. He laughs at himself.
Right.
He you know, it's okay. It's all cool. It's fine.
If you have to say that you're alpha male, you're not
Same
alpha
with a
male.
leader, man. Like,
Yeah.
I will step up and
Yeah.
be the leader.
Okay, that
That's
you just
not who we want.
you just disqualified
Yes,
yourself.
exactly.
Thank you for doing
Yeah,
that so we
get
can
out.
get you out of the way.
Yes.
I can think of one person in general right now. Several people.
George Washington, I think that was his whole thing was, no, I don't want to be, what are you, president?
Right.
No, I'm
You kidding me?
I'm a general. I want to
Right.
die on the battlefield.
Right.
Like it seems like most generals and maybe not most army men, but the guys who are
Well, you die a good death.
lifers is
Yeah.
what Jocko called them, lifers. And that's
Scary.
like you have the draft guys that like, I don't want to fucking be here and blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah.
right.
And then you have the lifers, and that's Jocko, you know,
Right.
18 years old, sign me up. I want a part of this. I
Right.
want to, you know, go over there and get some and whatever. And,
Yeah.
you know, and that's another thing that he gets a lot is like, oh, of course you were with a bunch of serial killers. Just, of course they want to be there and they want to obey and they're super soldiers. And it's like, yeah, but what happens when you have the draft guys? I'm here because I have to be, you know,
Right.
like
What good does that do?
That's whenever the true leadership should shine, and you should get these guys motivated, and even as far as discipline of shaving their beards and keeping their clothing kempt, and that's what's going to save their lives. That's what's going to keep their head down when a sniper is blowing heads off.
Right.
I'm sure you've heard some of those podcasts where it's like, and he poked his head up, and then the next thing the general saw was his brain sliding down his shoulder.
Jesus Christ.
It's just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Like, you think about it as a real events, which most of it probably is. It's emotional taxing, man. It's a lot,
dude.
But
one of the greatest sermons ever by Adam Ayers talks about the Holy Spirit. Like, I don't know what you feel about that, or even what I feel about that, but it just reminds me. He talks about the Holy Spirit and like what that is and like what it's for, and it's analogous to a Secret Serviceman trying to get you through like a war zone. And it's like the Holy Spirit is so intense that it's like, listen to me if you want to make it through this alive. If you don't listen, your brains will be sliding down your shoulder. Right. It's an amazing amazing sermon. I went up to him afterwards. I go, I've never thought about that in that way. Like, the Holy Spirit's always, what the hell is that? You know? Yeah, right. Yeah, he made it analogous to a secret, like a special forces guy that was like, I'm gonna get you from here to here. You better listen to me because it's gonna be tough. You know? It's amazing. I don't know what date it is or whatnot, but it's definitely in the archives. Definitely worth looking up and listening to.
Man,
amazing.
I haven't heard him for a while, but I remember a few of them.
He actually quit FWC. No. Moved to Hawaii.
What?
Moved to Hawaii. Yeah.
Why?
He's very fond of Hawaii. Spends a lot of time out there on vacation.
Seems like California's his family, and
his mom, I believe, passed away, and his dad for quite a while. So he doesn't really have any.
Even as far as the church congregation, I don't know.
He
knew him a lot better.
He was working 2 university jobs, 3, I believe, at one point. So he was professing at 2 or 3 places and doing the church. So he's getting really burned out, and quit both his jobs as far as professing, and then quit the church. Not like just quit, like pass the leadership on to somebody else.
Yeah. Right.
Moved to Hawaii, is going to like assist at past at a church that he would like spend time there when he would be on vacation, do some writing. He got 9 book deals from a publisher. Yeah. Who gets 9 book deals? They're like, try one and we'll see what happens after that. Maybe you can even get us the manuscript, you know? So he's going to do some writing. Just imagine that. What better place to write a book? Hawaii. You just get in your little cabin or your little bungalow, and you can hear and see the ocean. That type of way.
Is he happy?
He's super happy, super pumped, more energy than I've ever seen. So, yeah, he needs that.
Everybody,
how could you not be happy in Hawaii?
Needs that, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. I heard. I remember one of my exes. Not to refer to her as
Does she live in Texas?
No. Not to refer to her as that, but just as a reference to who I'm talking about. I was talking about let's go live in Hawaii. Let's go live in California. I think that was back in my big California days. Much influence to you or from you. And it's like, live by the beach. And she's like, I want to visit the beach. I don't want to live in paradise, because then that becomes every day. I want to visit paradise and come back to reality. Yeah. I had a hard time wrapping my head around that. Like,
no, she definitely has a point.
The further I get, the more I kind of like, maybe, because it would become normal and mundane and
still paradise. You can't forget that.
But is it though? Just because you live at the beach on the ocean is.
I think so.
Man, I wish we could drop some names right now, but I won't. But
who? Names, ocean, what? Anders?
No.
Oh God. Yeah, you don't have to finish that word. I gotcha. Yeah, right. No, I mean, it definitely, I can see where you could get burnt out, but if that's your paradise, I don't think you're gonna get burned out. If it's not your paradise and it's just kind of like a cool, like, oh, it's cool to get away. Like if the mountains are your paradise, like, you're not gonna get tired of the mountains. They're gonna be awesome.
But I mean, in a way, doesn't everybody kind of go for the sunny beach and nice weather and warm water to swim in?
I mean, yeah,
it's like partly a typical paradise.
Yeah, it's
but
definitely stereotypical. But
I know Lance O'Kelly, he's from Alaska, and just recently he's been visiting.
I was gonna say I watched Kelsey's Snapchat and was like, Alaska.
Yeah,
what the hell?
I don't follow her anymore, but I follow Lance still. And Lance
he has a Snapchat.
Yeah, he's got Snapchat and he's got Instagram. He's been
cool.
more active on Instagram, but Fairbanks, all the places where Chris McCandless with Into the Wild, like that Yukon territory. He's got to be close to the bus. The bus is up there.
Why don't you take a trip up there with him?
When we were dating, he was like, "Oh yeah, we'll get you up there." And just, I don't know if we didn't last long enough or whatever, but I don't know, maybe because I don't know, whatever.
I mean, a reasonable adult would just be like, "Oh yeah, you guys had a thing and it didn't work out, but we can still be."
If any of the O'Kellys are listening to this, I will be so impressed. But fuck it, I'll say it.
Shit. Listen 3 hours. And,
yeah, no kidding. Yeah. He's like, "Oh yeah, we'll get you up there or whatever." And shit, I lost it.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's all right.
We'll get you up there and build you a thing.
During our last days, during our last days, I guess this is what Kelsey told me, is that I guess he would go up to her and be like, "Please don't do this. Don't do it." Because he just liked me so much or whatever, you know, like really was a good influence. Just, like a better influence than where she was heading, whatever, you know.
Sure.
Whatever.
Gotcha.
And
makes sense.
So he was just like, "Please stay."
Wouldn't
with
you do
him.
that to your daughter? Like if you just found a really swell dude that like kind of
would, you know, I mean, in a way, mom does that to me.
Yeah.
I found you a wife that I would love.
Yeah, but her picks are so bad. At least Lance, you know, has a good character judgment with you. Like the girls that mom had picked for us, I'm like, you know.
There are some that are like potentially, that makes sense, but it's like you obviously like, I don't know. There'd
buy into face value.
Yeah, face value. That's a really good way to put it. It's just like a face value type.
She was nice to you. You know, one time.
Yeah, you saw her at Walmart
She
and like, "Hey,
showed
how
you a
you been?" And you and Casey were in the same grade. Like, you know, like
showed you a picture of her horse that she's growing up with or
I
something.
mean,
You know, I don't
know, but yeah, it is. I would love to go up there. I don't know. I'd really like to reconnect with them though, because we had a lot of good times just hanging out by a fire outside their house. One phone call away, man. Yeah, and they've invited me a few times, and actually one time I rain checked them, but I really need to get back over there.
Yeah, say yes.
Share a 6-pack with them and take an evening out. And
be
just
a yes man.
And, yeah, I don't know. They were really cool. I really liked them a lot.
That's cool. Keep them in your life.
Yeah, they were cool. There's the parents I want to keep in life, but not anybody else.
Yeah, right.
So
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, you know, maybe she's grown up and can look at things more logically.
But it's one of those things like, do you want to reconnect?
No,
you know, like,
no, I definitely don't want to reconnect to Sam. You know.
Yeah, exactly. There's a couple of them that's just like,
I saw her at
why even bother?
Gary Gibson's funeral. Love you, homie.
Dude, he died?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah, a couple of years ago.
No kidding.
Car wreck, yeah.
Fuck, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he passed away, but obviously I saw those people there, and it was, I had a beard and my fucking man bun, like I was rocking out. I'm like my get up right now. And I rounded the corner, and it was like Justin Grant, John Wagner, Blaze, which I love Blaze, you know, Blaze like homie for life. And I see him every once in a while, like periodically he'll show up. And nothing's changed. Like me and him are tight. Same with John, you know. And Lauren Vaughn and Sam, like I turned the corner and there's like this group, and it was fine. Like I went to school with these people, but you know, Sam, obviously I had 2 years of puppy love or whatever. Right. And I just see her just go, "My God, you've grown up." It was like a fucking romance movie, you know, like
the way you gave me that face was just like, I don't know what's coming, and then like, yeah, the way you've grown up.
My God, you've grown up. You know, it's like,
fuck.
It was like, what the yeah. I mean,
it was like post kid, I'd imagine. She had it pretty early.
Oh yeah, this was 2 kids deep, and she married that cop and everything. Damn. Which, man, she's doing good. I don't want to talk shit on her at all.
And that's true.
She looks like she's having a great. She's going to school. She's nursing. She has a great family.
These exes I talk about for sure, man. I really do wish them like. I hope you're happy. I hope you're all good. Right. I hope like whatever, dreams, whatever. I hope everything's good and you're happy.
Mom had a great point one time, and she was talking about, it was when Sam and I actually broke up, and I was kind of flirting around with maybe like Cody or something.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, well, she brought up like funny, like if anything ever like came between those two, like a brawl or like a shouting match or something, like
who would you back?
Yeah, she was just saying like, don't disregard Sam completely. Oh, you've had a lot of good times with her. Like this moment sucks, and yeah, it's tumultuous and what I used it, tumultuous and whatnot, and it's heartbreaking. But like the past 2 years have been pretty good, and I've even talked to Kelsey about that when she kind of remembers bad things with Brad. Like, oh, I can't believe he did that. But I go, there was a lot of good times too, right? Like, don't just throw everything out.
I totally agree.
And I think about that even with Sam. Like when I see her around, it's just like, yeah. She's definitely kind of in her own little category with me. Even now, like, yeah, you're pretty special. You kind of have a special thing. Like, nothing that I would ever act on or anything, but it's just kind of like, I got some memories with you, like whatever. So
I think that's a big one that like exes, they hold so much against each other.
Yeah.
It's like, why?
Yeah,
I think like actually loved each other.
You've talked about that before. Like the time that we had was fun. It's over now, but let's move on.
Yeah. Like, can we just like both be cool? I think, I doubt she listens, but Presley, like if I were to see her, in a, especially if she was solo or maybe like with a friend or something, I think it would be like a happy, like, hey, how you been doing? You know, like it's not going to be a fucking booty call or whatever. It's nothing like that. It's just going to be like a genuine,
exactly.
You've been good? Like good. Like I hope you've been good.
Right.
And I really do think she would be like the same to me. Like I hope you've been good.
Right.
Not that this is a get back together, not that this is a, nothing like that. Just you've been good. I'm really happy that
keyword.
I know you've been good.
And then it's true, like that sentence, I'm happy for you. Like it's true. Like
absolutely.
I'm happy for you. That's
for
really
sure.
cool. Like I don't want to, like I don't want to rekindle our love or anything.
Sure.
It's just like, I'm happy for you.
Right. And I don't know. A friendship with an ex is a strange concept, and it varies from person to person. But at the same time, there is just a feeling of, man, I just hope you're doing good, and there's no reason I should have anything against you. Maybe a cheater might kind of maybe hurt, but again, just
don't hang on to it. Too long.
Forgive and just whatever. Right. People are people, and we like sex, and who cares?
Oh, we were in high school. Oh my god!
Especially high school. Oh my god! Especially high school, and I can tell you with literally any girlfriend I've ever had, there's been more good times than bad. And it's like, if you don't remember those times, that's your own fucking fault, man. Right. You deserve.
You're
to
repressing
live
them, and you're choosing.
She's some fucking bitch. Man. I laughed harder than ever, and whatever. It's like the greatest emotional, physical pleasure, I've ever had. Like, thank you for that. It was a good time, and we're not together, but you're with this guy, like, good. I hope he's treating you right. Fucking better be, that type of deal.
Right.
I don't know, man.
That's probably because, and this sounds pompous and whatever, but it's like, at least we have somewhat of egos checked, like you're good with that. You're not like, oh, someone else is fucking her or whatever.
Not at all. Just be happy. If you're happy, I'm happy. Right. If you're not happy, let me know how I can help. Seriously,
I believe that with you 100%. I was there at 4 a.m. or 3 a.m. when the door got kicked in, and so stumbled in, and I was outraged in my head, like, fucking kick this bitch out.
Dude, I took an axe to the door. I didn't know what was going on. I was asleep, and you kind of stayed on the couch, but I knew you were at least coherent enough to where if a struggle were to happen or whatever, then
I'm up.
Yeah, that happened.
But the way that you handled it, just, actions speak louder than words. What you just said is like, I've seen that in action.
Yeah.
You took care of her 100%. Walked her through a dark time. A dark night. Yeah,
and it is it's the point of familiarity to where she comes to me because she's familiar with me.
Right.
And I'm not going to deny her of that because, why would you don't want to go to a stranger and like start from scratch. So there's this guy, blah, blah, like you want to go to somebody who understands your situation and can and maybe the trust issue and everything. And that was she said she had a dream about it. She woke up, 3, 4 a.m.
Late.
Late.
Early.
And all of a sudden, knocking on my door, and I don't know, man. I just try to be as good as I can, or good's a vague word, but why would I shut the door? She drove all this way. Are you kidding me? I'm not gonna shut the door in her face.
I need to get some sleep.
Yeah. What's up?
Right. Obviously, this is a nonverbal way of help. Help.
Yeah, for sure.
I needed help. I chose you.
Yeah.
Do not deny me.
Yeah.
And I think that happens a lot.
I agree.
It's like Sam Harris talking about. I don't know if you listened to this podcast with Jordan Peterson the second time. They talk about.
Yeah, I just did.
Remember the experiment they talk about the Good Samaritan?
Go on.
I'm pretty sure it was Sam Harris and Jordan Peterson, but I'll explain. It was pastors. These researchers were doing experiments on these pastors, and they didn't quite know, but they were saying they were giving them like material, like, okay, do a sermon on this, do a sermon on this, do a sermon on this, and they would keep them in the research and make them late to their sermon. And so on the way to the sermon, they had a actor playing a homeless guy, and he's sitting there. If the sermon was about the Good Samaritan, the guy would stop. Like, even if he was late, he would stop and be like, you need some help?
If he had studied.
If his sermon was based on the Good Samaritan. If not,
I'm not sure this was Jordan Peterson.
They would go. It's Sam Harris. It's one of his.
Okay.
If not, they would walk over him. They just like go to the. So
it's crazy.
It's
priming, right? Priming.
Part of that's priming
your brain too.
Part of that's priming, but part of that is also, people who say they want to do good and everything, they get caught up in life. They get, I'm late, I'm busy, like, dude, you're missing out on what you really need to be focusing on. This homeless dude, you're just gonna walk over him, or
dude,
it could be right in front of your eyes. It could be your kids. Your kids are acting out in school. Like, give them some attention, or your wife, or whoever.
We keep dragging this thing on, but Azimuth in California really showed me.
Talk about a real dude.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Well, now I go to, I think we had mom or somebody, maybe grandparents, gave us a Subway gift card.
Yeah.
And now I go to California almost like you'd go to New York. Like, there's going to be bums everywhere.
Yeah.
There's going to be homeless people.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
So many people, whatever. Like, there's too many of you. I'm not going to worry about you.
Right.
I'm going to move on or whatever. You're sitting here for a reason, and I'm not going to like oblige your reason for sitting here because I see your reason for sitting here.
Should have made better decisions.
Yeah, something like that. And there were some guys outside of Subway that were like, "Man, can we get a sub?" And I was, "Yeah, sure, whatever." And I didn't give them anything. I don't know if you gave me anything, but I didn't.
Azimuth did.
Okay, well then, much later, some guy, hey man, you got anything to eat? Azimuth had some leftovers that he was going to eat later, like his dinner for later or whatever. He's like, oh, well, I got these. Here you go.
Yeah. And
it was so powerful because we had kind of met this guy as he
had dreads, big-headed dreads,
kind of an up and coming actor who had done more than either of us, obviously, like had seen some success in a way,
right?
And that's not discounting you in any way, but just like
no,
you know what I mean.
I got you.
And some just random dude was just like, hey man, you got anything to eat? And Azimuth had leftovers to where I would be like, dude, there's like millions of you homeless people here.
Sorry, bro, I don't.
Yeah, exactly. And these leftovers are for me later, but if I had something, I'd give it to you.
Right.
Blah blah blah. And he just like so selflessly handed him like, dude, hopefully this helps. I hope this helps you. And it was a really powerful thing to me. That same concept as if you want to change the world, change your community, like change what's directly around you, and that's how you start to change the world. And man, what a powerful guy.
Absolutely.
I really like that guy.
I
wake the fuck up.
I even have
Azimuth.
I even have to admit that I totally stereotyped him with the hair, and I was like, oh, this fucking hippie. He's got his beard and everything, and he was
hipster out here in California.
I had just met so many of them, and he was actually working for Phil, and I was like, oh, he's just probably getting money for drugs. I mean, it was just terrible. Dude, this guy turned out to be so nice, and ended up being, friends. Now we're friends on Facebook. I'm trying to find him with his hair.
Such a good guy.
He was in Parks and Rec. Remember when he's?
Oh no, I don't.
Yeah, he's in Parks and Rec at one point. If I could find the clip, it's Ron. What's his name?
Ron Swanson.
Ron Swanson saying like, I love coming to the Whole Foods store, and then it has Azimuth with the dreads.
My God.
And he was like, look at that beautiful beast, or something like that.
Like making fun of him in a way.
Yeah,
like
Ron Swanson, there's Azimuth with his dreadlocks. And he actually did a commercial where he cut his hair in the commercial.
It's still on. It's still played.
Yeah.
Like, I've seen it recently.
So he's still getting paid for that, I'd imagine.
Man, like for a long time I denied it. Like, that's not him. That's not him. Looking at that now, that's absolutely him.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. That's him.
Yeah.
It was a financial consulting.
That's right. Would you let this guy?
Yeah. Like, I'm actually a DJ.
Yeah. Which he really is, and he makes music.
Yeah. And I think that was the joke.
That's his call.
He's actually a DJ. Mm-hmm. He actually makes this music. He has his long dreads and shit for this DJ, and I don't know if they paid him enough or whatever to cut his dreads, and he played this like normal dude, and
see it
kind of like quote professional,
right?
Really good guy. Really taught me in a really simple act of kindness. Taught me a lot about just, man, it's about like, you didn't change the world, you changed that guy's evening. Even if it's his evening, you gave him something to eat, man.
Yeah,
he gets to go to bed kind of full tonight, or kind of just, I'm not hungry going to bed. And that was just like, fuck, man, fuck me. I'm so stupid, like, just like what? So inconsiderate, or whatever.
Or
like,
just the sense of the guy, like, man, somebody acknowledged me today.
Yeah.
Someone treated me like a human.
That's a big one that Jocko does. And
Jordan Peterson too.
It is what I've done. And I really think I have done this, but he put it into words to where it's like, even if it's the Walmart clerk, even if it's a Taco Bell attendant, hey, how you doing today? Yeah, can I get a quesadilla? Blah, whatever.
Right.
Compared to, hey, I'm pretty good. How are you doing?
Exactly.
Oh, I'm good.
Acknowledging their humanness.
Yes, they are a human. They're just like you. If they aren't doing that job, then you're gonna have to do it. Or somebody's got to do that job. Right. They don't want to be there. You don't want to be there, and you're not even working there. You don't even want to be in Walmart, and you're not even working there. Like those people who I just gave shit for helping me on the self-help kiosk or whatever. It's just like,
it's 2 hours ago.
Leaving the store, I turn to them like, hey, I appreciate that, thanks a lot. And then I make myself out, not just, I don't know. I really like that. Like, treat people like they're people, man.
Absolutely.
Because they are.
No matter if they're the CEO or if you're the Walmart cashier.
I don't care, man. I'm going to talk to you. I'm going to ask you how you've been. I'm not a social person, but I care enough for your well-being that I'll take time out and maybe be uncomfortable to myself, and just to say, you doing all right today? You doing good? Business slow, whatever.
Dude, our society is so obsessed with titles. I see
an income.
Well, yeah, but title more because the title dictates your income.
Right.
So, for instance, if you just took two people side by side, and I guess this actually kind of talks about Azimuth's commercial. Like, there's two people are the same people, they just look different.
Sure.
You're going to treat them differently or whatnot.
Totally differently.
That stupid CEO title, gone that fast. You're fired. Now what are you? In this society, and I'm thinking about this the other day because I thought about not cutting my beard for Red Oak, and I was like, I have to quit and everything. And I realized how much my identity is like invested in that. Like, dude, that's how I get my money. That's how I walk around and do everything and pay for everything. I have so much my identity in that job. And I think that is a repercussion of just the society that we live in. At a cocktail party. Hi, how are you? I'm Casey. What do you do?
First question.
What do you do?
What do you do?
Right. Not what do you like to do?
What do you do for a living?
Yes.
How do you make your money?
How do you make your money? So the point is they're just titles that are just totally false, and they give you like little perks in life, And
I try not to make them matter at all. It doesn't matter. I don't care what you do, man.
No.
What do you believe?
Right.
What do you think?
Sure.
I don't care what you do.
Yeah.
Because I realize, it's a social construct. You have to be here. The only reason you're even here is because they're literally giving you money.
Yeah.
They're literally, we'll pay you if you stand here and help our customers or, whatever, check them out or whatever your job is. And that's the only reason why I'm here. And I don't think there's any reason to think that, oh my goodness, this Gringos employee lives and breathes and fucks Gringos, just like that's all they do. They're fucking burritos in the back, man. It's just, oh man,
that's really good.
Yeah,
yeah, for sure. Anyway, we gotta wrap this up. 3 hours, 31
agree.
minutes.
Good Lord.
I can feel like my brain, and it's kind of weird. I used to feel this sensation that I'm feeling now, maybe 30 minutes in. Like, I remember one time Caleb and I had probably episode 5, I think it was. We realized we didn't know how to monologue, because in everyday life, you'd either be interrupted or you were done with your thoughts.
Something breaks it, and
some sort of stimulus is going to break that. So we would be going, and we're like, blah, blah, blah. We just start spitting out garbage, because we're like, I've never got this far in a thought or a sentence. And, and it was cool because we both allowed each other to get our thoughts out and to like develop them, and then kind of get to a point to where it's like, pass it on to you. And it was really cool. But basically what I was going to say is that the sensation of like my brain, like I just feel like, it feels like my brain just did the bench and squat workout. Like, holy cow. Like, I definitely, it's been firing. It's been trying to think of antidotes.
You know what the thing is though, is that we could keep going.
I could if I could just get a drink, I'd be fine.
I could take a bathroom break and just keep rolling.
Just take a little pause real quick, a little intermission.
But the thing about these long, like 3 hours and 30, that's a long podcast. The thing about that is I hope.
How will we do that? It's almost midnight.
I hope.
I haven't had a dinner yet.
I hope the listeners though.
Yeah.
I hope we're not filling them with like useless content in a way. Like, I hope there is some substance to it. I hope they're getting something out of it, not just like noise to fill my time.
Yeah, right.
And so I think maybe as this podcast, as our podcast evolve, hopefully it gets more and more into like, I like what they talk about. And
there was a girl today, Caitlin Sanders. So shout out if you make 3 hours 33 minutes. But she was like, "You do a podcast?" And I'm just Snapchatting her, and I'm like, "Yeah." She goes, "I'm gonna check it out." And I immediately had like anxiety, like, "Oh fuck, you're probably gonna listen to like episode 3 or something." And how are you gonna listen to that? And even Alex, Alex Maher, a good buddy of mine in California, was like, "I've been checking out your SciFi and Friends." It's like, fuck, which one have you been listening to?
Yeah, true.
'Cause there's only like 3 that I would recommend. The rest are just, me trying to be a good host and going, "Oh, that's not how that works," or I couldn't think anything that day.
We can only hope that these cameras and like the evolution of this keeps going, and that maybe this is like the official start or something. Or I'm assuming that this podcast is a good one, so I hope it is, but.
The point is just, and if I've learned anything from doing this podcast for, I think it's 5 years now, from when we were sitting in our room at mom and dad's, holding our mics, going, "What the hell are we doing?"
Yep.
The thing that I've learned the most is just keep doing them. Keep doing them. Mess them up. Say something offensive. Say the wrong fact, or
I'm ready to get some feedback. Honestly, if you're listening here, give us some feedback.
Well, this one's going to be crazy because it's got the video. This is like a whole new aspect, and if anyone, I think. More people are definitely going to see it because, and I've said this a few times, like there are several monologues in my head that you've already said that I'm going to cut and import or export, like a 10-minute monologue, like Casye Seifert on Jocko Willink Jocko podcast, and that's all I'm going to post. So they can listen to the 3 hours and 40 minutes that this thing's going to go, or they can go, "What's Casye Seifert's opinions on Jocko podcast?" Ka-ting. Like, I know for sure already the Japanese not shaving their beard, that's going to be a monologue. That was amazing. It was cool. I was totally mesmerized. And anyone else that's like scrolling through SciFi and Friends Facebook, I think they would be mesmerized by that. Like, what? Are you serious? That's
really
crazy.
Honestly, I'm impressed at the Facebook Live at the beginning of this when I did the shed hunting in Cherryville, like 2-3 people.
Right.
This had 7, which isn't like a huge, but it was like I typed in sci-fi. It's like SciFi and Friends was the caption,
right?
And sometimes Facebook will be like, "Casye Seifert is live."
Yeah,
I've only gone live like twice, literally the Cherryville time and this time. But so it'll say that,
right?
But to the same extent that they see maybe shed hunting and it's like, whatever.
Right.
I don't.
What the hell shed?
Yeah, right. Compared to, I know what SciFi and Friends is. Let's see what they're doing. And I kind of showed them the setup and stuff, and hopefully that would spur interest and. Hopefully there was that many viewers just because it is SciFi and Friends.
The content that you're about to show.
Right. And they see SciFi and Friends and like, I'm somewhat familiar with that is, and I don't know.
Dude, it'll be interesting to see the feedback on the videos.
I agree. I'm excited for the
on
videos,
the podcast.
Man. They look good. And
definitely. Yeah. But the big thing that's coming is this live stuff.
Yeah, I agree.
I've had so many questions about the live, like how can I watch it live? And today I'm thinking of Corey from work and a couple other guys that text me like, how do I watch it live? And it's like, shit, you guys would be here live with us if we could be. Imagine that. Imagine if that camera, well, imagine if all the cameras were live and you had the YouTube channel over here and you can disable or enable the comments. Like, what if you could just have comments coming up like, Casey, talk more about that, you know?
And
it'd be amazing.
Even a quick switch, like a 1, 2, 3 camera.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
Right. We'd have to figure out something about that.
But I think we could. I think it'd be fine. Maybe 4,
Hire Kelsey.
back to the camera or something. Or
to the computer.
I think it'll be done, and
well,
I'm excited to see what it holds.
Like you said, it's just all part of an evolution, you know,
Yeah.
from sitting in mom and dad's room or
holding the
mom and dad's house.
microphones
Yeah,
and-
just
yeah.
we're holding shotgun mics that we used to film make, you know, like
It's
that
good,
you,
man.
that you hold up like this,
Yeah.
you know, like that's what we were using. And now we actually have studio mics and we have a podcast table, and it's just like just one more step, one more step, one more step.
Yeah.
So
I'm excited to watch them. I'm excited to watch it over listen to it. You know, I don't really, I don't. I've listened to a few of my podcasts, I guess, but
I think
I'll be more excited to watch this
important.
one and the edit of it and all that. So,
well, hopefully in the future I can get you to edit them.
Yeah.
Edit a few every once in a
if
while.
I can get a
'cause,
computer powerful enough.
that's one of my
Hell yeah.
one of my plans is to like establish a team, like a freelance team.
Right.
Like I got a couple
Right.
guys in my head that's like, hey, how much would it cost for you to edit this podcast?
Right.
Oh, $50. Okay, here,
Yeah.
here's all the
That's
content.
the first number that came to my mind. $50.
Like, okay,
Yeah.
3 hours of work, you
Right.
edit it all out. I get like 2 changes or whatever. Like change this, change that.
I would think you'd watch all camera angles and you're talking.
Yeah.
We're both. Maybe it's like just a shot of both of us.
Mm-hmm.
I go to the laundry room, shot of you. You know, like
Yeah. Right.
I don't
Dude.
know.
Well, to extend this even longer,
Yeah, no kidding.
one
I
last
gotta pee
thing.
so bad.
Sorry. Premiere Pro has a thing called multicam edit, and it shows up in a screen in a quadrant. And so what you'll see is you'll see a quadrant of 4 screens. One will be black because we don't have a 4th camera, but the like that will be camera A, camera B, camera C.
What about that being like a 4th camera?
Oh, well, right. That's what would be the 4th camera actually. So good point. So each quadrant would be full. Whichever one is highlighted, that's the one that gets edited in. So they play all at once, and you just watch it. And so
Can you
like
choose?
yeah, you just click on it. So it's just like, okay, Casey's talking, click. Now Colton's monologuing, click.
But you could also watch both.
Yes. It's like, oh, it's a good time to switch to both because they're both kind of like interacting quickly. Oh, now they're looking at
That
the
would
internet.
probably be almost the default of just like
No,
if you
it
just want
is.
to
It is.
sit it and cruise.
Yes,
just
it is.
Go both or
It'll still cost you, 3 hours and 40 minutes to edit it all, but there's no other way because you can see every angle and you
Yeah.
just choose. It's
I
like,
think there's some value in like in us editing. You know that you're gonna go on like a 4-minute tangent here.
Kinda, yeah.
So why wouldn't you go ahead and use your camera
Right.
for this tangent to
Right.
where people can see maybe like a quick cut to me to like shaking
Yeah.
my head, like yeah, and then back to you to
Right.
like just to see the exchange happen.
right.
or
I mean,
whatever.
there's definitely facial expressions
Yeah.
that
That's the beauty of watching it, really.
Mhm.
And if you think listening to podcasts is like the only way to do it, watching it is a whole nother
game.
game.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
That's cool. All right.
I love you, brother.
Love you too, man. Thanks for coming
man.
on.
Absolutely.
I know as you wanted this to be short.
No. I'm happy with it. I hope really, if you're still listening, I really hope you got something good out of this. A few laughs and some Star Wars critiques and
Oh, geez. Fast and Furious breakdown.
Yeah, I mean, I really hope you were entertained or got whatever you wanted to get.
If
out
you're
of this.
lonely, I
And
hope you had a good time spending it with us.
shit, man. I mean, whatever you're doing, I hope. I hope you got something out of it. Really, it doesn't have to
sure.
be like life changing or whatever.
Yeah.
But, hope you enjoyed it.
Right.
Hope you enjoyed the podcast, and thanks for listening.
Right on.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. I don't know when the next one will be, but this was just kind of like, hey, did these cameras work? Does this all work? So far, so good. I'll be posting this as soon as I can. This is the first one that I've edited besides the sample one that I did. So like I always say, if you liked listening to the podcast, like the Facebook page, follow us on Twitter. We're on iTunes and Stitcher. Since we're kind of getting up into the big leagues now, please leave us a review on iTunes. That would be awesome. Oh, and now we're on YouTube. We're gonna be on. It'll be on my my YouTube page for a while, and if I get really ambitious, I'll just make a SciFi and Friends sister page if that's possible. I'm sure it's possible. So look for us on Twitter. If there's someone you want to hear on the SciFi and Friends podcast, shoot me a message on Facebook, Twitter, any of those things. Or if you want to come on the SciFi and Friends podcast, let me know. Come check out the studio. Come sit at the table. Come have a chat with Papa Colt.
Come on by. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful setup. Love the setup. I love the computer. Quick Googles for fact checks, and
like I said, next month we have gigabit internet coming in. So
beautiful.
It's going to be even more of a change, whether that's live or who knows. So
love it.
Anyway, everybody, thanks for listening to the SciFi and Friends podcast. Have a great week. Peace.
Later.